Hello, interwebs. I've got my coffee, so I'm happy now. All right, let me just get myself all set up here. While you wait, please amuse yourselves. Let's see what I've done. Oh, I crashed. I forgot I crashed my Mac. Totally crashed it. It's a Mac crash. It's British Tuesday. Same old Shane. Same old Shane. How are you, buddy? Oh my God, I've been having so much fun with that printer. So much freaking fun. I just, I'm sure people can build it faster. I'm just really, really enjoying the process of building it. I'm taking my time. I feel like I put it off for so long because it's one of those things I've wanted to do for so long that I kind of like felt guilty doing it. Ah, that is the deliciousness of coffee. And how are you doing, same old Shane? What's up? How is the world for you? Hello, Westy Coast man. Greetings from Vancouver Island. Very good. Vancouver Island, good place to be. I think it certainly was a good place to be. I'm not sure whether it still is or not. It's so hard to say. All right, let me get this sorted. First off, this is not a Tech Bandit, so I should definitely change the stream name. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, let me just see. Creator dashboard. Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves as I do my usual chaotic attempts to make this all make sense. All right, edit the stream info. What are we doing today? Today we're doing chitty chat between the wonderful Prusa build experience. All right, we are just chatting. I have changed the name. It won't update because it never does for some reason, and I have to end up doing it again later. Oh, I see. Once you started streaming, I guess it's not very good at changing it, is it? So this is not a Tech Bandits. This is a me chatting, and yeah, let's see what we got going then, shall we? Here we go. You should see the wonderful squirrel cam. Hello, Inthractus. Hello, OnStream Q. Pac Mom. Thank you very much, Pac Mom. What did same old Shane say? I see the topic as chitty chat between the wonderful Prusa build experience. Oh, very good. That's good. That's exactly what it should be. And everybody, just so everyone knows, same old Shane here, the fabulous man, was instrumental, possibly even the genesis of the idea of Prusa sending me this thing. And it is, God, it's fun. It really is fun. All right, let me switch over so you can actually see what I'm doing. Hello. Yeah, feeling a bit blue. I did my blue lights today. So same old Shane did nothing. Exactly, right. And that's maybe that's the key, is do nothing. And then Prusa sends you things. Oh, wait a sec. We should double check, make sure the mustache is in focus. We don't want to miss out on that. Oh, look at that. There you go. You're gonna miss this. You're gonna miss that. You're gonna miss that mustache because my last day of filming on this series. Am I allowed to say what the series is yet? Who am I talking to? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to yet. But anyway, so the series that I'm working on, I've got my last day, my last episode. I did 6 episodes of this 6-episode sort of. It's like a mini series basically. So, did you remember to grease your axis rods? You know what? I have done everything that it tells me to, like, possibly to a fault. Shane, you'll get a kick out of this. Check that out. Look at that. I even arranged the gummy bears as closely to the picture as I could in the manual. So in the manual, the wonderful folks at Prusa have it all set up so that you eat a certain percentage of your gummy bears as you go along. I'm kind of lame in that I like to save them, but there's no point in saving them because people keep coming down here and eating them. My wife came down and was like, "Ooh, gummy bears," and she's walked off with a whole stack of red ones. Not yet, but I have a friend who is an accountant for Netflix, and we can't say it out loud. Netflix? What's that? What? What? Huh? Glorious stash. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is rather glorious. I will miss it. But I won't miss it for long, because apparently I'm doing this Movember thing, this Prostate Cancer Awareness Month thing, and my friends roped us into. So Bill Phillips, brilliant director, writer, and human being. Directed a film called Treed Murray, or Get Down, that I did 1,000 years ago. And then went on to direct Foolproof, which was a film that Ryan Reynolds put on his. He was with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. There you go. Very hard name to say. Mr. Reynolds put the movie on his Mint mobile site. So the only thing you could access when you went to Mint mobile TV was just the one movie. I guess it was the one you could get the rights to or something. So, what do we got going here? Twist it and go old school. Yeah, I almost want to go. I really would. I'd love to get to that point, but I think divorce would precede that point, I believe. Nothing. 5:26. You're right. I haven't done any mustache ASMR because what would Cal do without this? May even be a bit of soup on that because I did the soup thing. What, Pac Mom et tu, Pac Mom? You don't like the mustache ASMR? Come on, people pay good money for that. No, I am not upgrading the 2.5S. I'm not doing the 2.5S upgrade. I'm literally building a whole new system thanks to, as I say, Shane and the folks at Prusa, which you can't hear me when I talk away, don't I? The hype train. So this is the original i3 Mark III's. It also has the multiple filament thing, but I was advised by Prusa himself, no less, that I should build the printer, get it working first, and then attach the MMU. Because I'll tell you, the one thing that gets me every single time is that damn extruder. I get so freaked out about the extruder part. And the extruder part, for those of you who don't know, is is basically where all the filament comes out. So I don't know if you can you see it from there? Sort of a little bit. But this, I've got to know. So this little section in here, up here, is where the filament comes out of the printer. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit for you. Try that. And give you a little bit better view of it. Now I got to focus on that. Oh man. Okay, what do we got? Nope, too far. I need something to. Where's closer? Oh, there it is. But if I can get it to stay there. You'll love this. Once I focus, it'll be amazing. Okay, there you go. So that is now in focus. So that little bit right there, that is the extruder. So basically that gets hot and the filament comes through it and melts into a tiny little strip that then builds anything out of, nice 3D printed parts. So now I have to do this again. My God, I've got to sort out my camera thing. That's my next. I think my next purchase will have to be some different camera setups. I think what I'll do is I'll go with some GoPros because I think. Let's focus on the wild eyebrows. There you go. Almost as good as the mustache, isn't it? Yikes. Okay, there you go. I think that's enough camera moving for the time being. Wow, we just did another hype train or whatever that craziness means. So the other thing I could do, I suppose, is show you on the other camera what madness I've got going here. HD GoPro. Oh, is that? Why aren't you showing up? That's interesting. You're supposed to be wired in. Why don't I see you? Crazy cameras? What you doing? Webcam Pro. Oh, that's not working. Huh. That's working. So the Biolab one seems to work. So the Biolab, so I'll show you the difference. I can show you the old printer, can't I? Let me do this. I'll do a little, having way too much fun with my mixers here. So this, I may have to adjust it in the other room, but this is what I was working with, was this one right here. Sort of hard to see. It is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's just one of my favorite printers of all time. Absolutely. Yeah, it's an absolute workhorse, and I adore it. And I need a better camera shot of it. Hang on a second. I'll be back in 1 second. Let me just get a better angle on it, and let me also figure out what's happened to this one, because the one above me should also be plugged in and showing things. Hang on. All right, please, again, talk amongst yourselves. What have I stepped on? God damn it. Okay, so that is, what if I plug that back in? Would that work? Did I get anything there? Oh yeah, I got a light there. Now let me just adjust this one a little bit because I won't be able to see it. But the basic idea is it's nice to see more, less of the, more of the How's that looking? How's that look, folks? Oh, that's a little better. There you go. So here's all my Prusa stickers. Boy, it's like a big ad. We're doing a big ad for Prusa today, as I damn well should, because frankly, I love them. This is the only 3D printer I've owned, and I've loved every second of it. I loved building that. I built that over a Christmas a few years ago, and it was just, God, it was just a fantastic Christmas project. And then I guess I've had this one for ages. Shane, I don't even know how long I've had it for, but I kept putting it off because it was something that I wanted to do, and for some reason, the things that I think of as fun, I tend to put off until the last thing that I do, and there's always something more important that I should be doing. Usually some TechBandits related stuff, or learning lines, or raising children, that kind of stuff. So I just kept putting it off, and then finally I got. I felt like I've got a little window coming up because I finished this filming. Of course, I then went and got another job, but this was beside the point. But this print is just. I'm loving the build. Absolutely loving the build. Let me see if I can get that overhead shot now, because you can really see what's going on. Oh, look at that! Look at that beast. Let's do this for you. Let's go back to camera 3 so you get to see what I see. Look at this. I mean, and I've got it, as I said, I've put it on the base of the chair, of the old SGU chair, because it was too heavy. But it's been amazing because it's a very nice, big piece, flat piece of metal, which I can, which is obviously very important when you're building, when you are building 3D printers. It's very important to make sure that things are level. Otherwise, obviously, it's rocking around, and if you're rocking your 3D print, it tends to look pretty awful. So I used the metal base of the chair that you see behind me right there. So this chair here that I got all lit up right now for you, just because I was talking about it the other day, so I wanted to show off the lights. So those lights are all components of this shuttle controller chair from SGU that I salvaged from the shredders, or whoever it was who was dealing with it. And but the thing weighs a ton, and because of its weight and because of its design, it doesn't work well on the floors that I have. It needs to be raised up more in order to rotate. But I don't need it to really rotate like that. So what I think I'm going to do is put it on casters. So I'll put it on wheels so I can sort of wheel it around if I need to. Support it with a bit of wood. I want to get some foam repair kit and like an epoxy kit of some sort, and just like gussy it back up again and give it a proper paint. The white is just so ugly. I much prefer the original black, and that's originally how I was going to use it, but yeah, I got talked out of that. So I'm going to take it back to that, and then I'm going to replace there's a hydraulic. There's basically what would it be called? A hydraulic piston of some sort? A hydraulic system in there that brings up the arm and puts it back there. I just showed you. My words are hard. Let's just go with pictures. I'll probably unplug this when I do this. But anyway, so I think I've shown this before. Let me unplug it. There we go. Oh, do I need all those bits as well? Oh God, seriously. Yeah, this is. Let's see what we got. Okay, so as I said, I've got this thing here. So this is an arm. This is the arm with the control stuff on it. I don't know what went there. I got to figure that out. I thought maybe an iPad or something. Put a mini iPad or an old iPhone or something in there. Give it some cool little graphics going. But all the lights work, and this rotates, and you can light up those different things. But inside, I was very surprised to see, like incredibly surprised to see, that there's a hydraulic system here, which moves this chain, which moves the arm. I don't know if they ever actually used it in the show because the cables had been, or the tubes had been disconnected. But I want to replace this hydraulic piece with a linear activator arm. So basically, It's like a little worm drive, so not a worm drive, but a motor that rotates and the screw extends or retracts. Because I think that'll work better in here. It'll tie into the electrics better. I can run it with an Arduino, and I won't require a giant noisy compressor to do all this stuff. So I think we'll lose this, and then I'll take this and I'll use it for something else. I have a giant sort of linear activator, but it's I think it's too big. I think it would probably fold me in half. What? It would probably fold me in half if I actually managed to get my arm in there. All right, let's see if I get this plugged back in again. I think I've got the electrics worked out on this, the electronics worked out on this. I should be able to get it back lit up if I can. Where's the other? If I can find the other cable. What have I done with the cable? Yoicks! In this madness that I call my cable insanity. Is it this one or is it that one? Is it this one? There you go. All right, so there you go. You're all lit back up again. Fun and games for everybody. Now I need my coffee back. All right. All this walking around. Imagine that as an office chair. I know, wouldn't it be amazing? Well, that's what I'm thinking. Actuator. Sorry, that's it. Actuator. God, that's one of those words that I suck at saying. Actuator, activator. Activator sounds more... I kind of like activator, you know. It's a linear activator. Actuator. Actuator? All right, yeah, imagine that as an office chair. I don't have to, Boon Boys. That's what I'm going to turn it into. Like, basically, I'll replace this chair with that chair. Right now, that chair is very uncomfortable, I got to say. For some reason, sci-fi has always made uncomfortable chairs. God, that ridiculous Atlantis chair, the Arctic chair, the ancient chair, was just... God, it had all these beautiful gel packs on it, and yet it still somehow managed to hit every bad pressure point in your back. Ancient Technologies was not worried about spinal columns. The control chair, indeed. Oh, look, it's stick time. 111. I've got 111 people here. That's got to be... Baz will be very, very happy with me. Missed a boatload of subs. Well, I did? What did I miss? I missed a boatload of subs. Well, I'm looking back. What if I do this? Can I do this? If I go to mod view, will it be easier for me to see that? Thank you to everyone who subbed. And thank you to Cal for pointing it out. I missed a ton of... I'm so sorry I missed the subs. Cal for pointing it out. I missed a ton of... I'm so sorry I missed... Now, why am I listening to myself all of a sudden? I missed a ton of... Oh, there you go. That's because I've unmuted myself. The puddle jumper chairs were comfortable. No, they were not comfortable. I'm telling you, there was not a chair. There was not a chair on that set that was comfortable. Unless it was designed, you know, unless it was like a military designed one. Like it was one that was supposed to be in the offices or something like that. All right, wait a second. So is there how do I see, can I see this? Is there a way to list all the subs or something? Active mods, session, activity feed. I think I've got that, don't I? Activity feed. Oh, there you go. What's going on here? Okay. So... Oh, Corinne followed me. Bites followed me. Mally Bites followed me. Thank you. TNT Australia subscribed. Thank you. Austria, not Australia. TNT Austria subscribed. Thank you very much. Gator Gal. Oh my God, 100 bits. Thank you very much. The Boon Boys subscribed. Thank you, Boon Boys. Turtle Princess subscribed. Oh my God. I can't believe it's 6 months either. My boyfriend and I are looking into what? Into buying the Prusa i3 kit. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh, you learned about it from me. Oh, good. Well, there you go. So Prusa's not wasting his money by sending me printers. That's good. I always feel a bit guilty when people send me things. You know, the saving grace on this stuff is that it's not really for me. It's you know, this is something that I want the kids to be able to use, the TechBandits. Oh my God. Ang Beckett subscribed. Thank you very much. Same old Shane subscribed. You shouldn't have done that. Fallout Space is subscribed. No, they haven't. They've cheered with 5 bits. Thank you very much. The Zykes. And then we're back to Pac Mom. Thank you, Pac Mom. And Lily Dark followed. And Mr. Clean Tracy subscribed. And Mick Malo followed. And oh my God, I can't get through it all. Now, oh man, you guys, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. It's too much for me. Ram Custom PCs. Thank you very much. Custom PCs. That sounds cool. Ram Custom PCs. Oh, man, I got to get my PC built. Super Panda 1921 is subscribed. Oh, my God. He's an actor. He really shows comfort in Atlantis. Yeah. I was really good at not being comfortable. Wow, those helicopters are loud, man. David, you're going to get a Pro Cucino 3D food printer. Oh, I like the sound of that. I wondered about there was a pancake printer that sounded very cool. Um, a quick bio of ex-military here to share the love. Belly bites. Well, let me look that up. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss that. I didn't realize that you could write things as you. I didn't realize that you could write things as you subscribed. Let me see if I can get this right. Can I scroll back up? It keeps going. It's going by so fast. Mally bites. Let me see if I can find it. My God, this is where I mean, this, I just lose the thread when it comes to the chat on this stuff. How does Barnacles do it? Barnacles somehow manages to keep things sort of, vaguely in check. And he is just as, what? Oh, well, as I say, what? I was like, what rating? What happened? I've scrolled back so far now that I don't have what I'm looking for. I'm looking. I can't find it, Mally. I'm so sorry. Is there a search feature? Can I search within this? Mally, I'll have to look back at it after because I cannot find it. Stream Elements, does that help? Apparently McKay is the best. Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with you, Stargate Girl Sophie. So did you enjoy the Prusa build? Okay, so Country 3D, who I'm going to talk to Walter this afternoon at 4, I believe. 4:30? I can't remember which one of the two. I'll either be late or early. I am really enjoying the Prusa build. I got to say, I am totally taking my time. Like, I am in no rush at all. I'm doing exactly what I did with the last one, which is to just savor every minute, read over the instructions, think about them, put it in my brain, visualize it, and then build it, and then get it wrong and take it all apart and put it back together again. I had to do the extruder. I put the extruder together, and I was like, "What the heck? How did I miss this part?" And I had missed two things. So I went back. I took it all. I was like, "This is totally cool. I'm gonna be totally zen about this." Took it all apart, just followed the instructions again, and I realized that I'd skipped a page. So yeah, it's fantastic. And I got to say, the instructions on these things, it is very hard to beat the build instructions on the Prusa. In fact, you can see it right there. There you go. You can see it sitting on my desk right there. So like this, I'm using this manual. The reality is there's also videos and all sorts of stuff, but honestly, the manual is so good that it walks you through everything. And then there's little moments where Prusa, a little circular picture of Prusa will show up, and it'll say, "Hey, make sure you screw these things in properly before you do this," or whatever. So it's very good. Pac Mom, yes. How goes the thesis? Where is Pac Mom with her thesis? Oh wow. Country 3D, I'm going to see your latest creation this afternoon, a home build DIY 500 millimeter cubed printing monster. Oh, sweet. Well, let me just say this quickly. I should say a huge thank you to DStat for being our sponsorship level patron. All of our patrons, because frankly, you add up to, this happening, basically. And speaking of which, I have something else to talk to you about that on that front. Huge thank you to everyone who subscribes here, because now more than ever, the money is going towards TechBandits because Baz is starting his own channel. Although I am gonna, if he's gonna stream with me, I am gonna give him a little bit of Twitch money as well for pocket money. But it's just this channel is basically, I feel kind of bad, but I've sort of taken over this channel because I've got TechBandits Mondays and Wednesdays right now, and then Stargate streams every other Sunday. So hopefully this Sunday we'll see, as long as work works out. And he's 13 now, so he wanted his own channel. So he went and created his own channel instead of having to have one under my name. So, oh yeah, Ben Wash. The dogs, they love eating bugs. My dog will literally maul and play with a stink bug for hours and then eat it. And I the whole point of a stink bug is supposed to it's supposed to make it impossible for animals like that to eat it. But no, my dog, totally happy, total mutt. But that's the beautiful idea about Patreon in Thractus, is you can subscribe and then just forget, and I keep getting the money. No, it really is. It's incredibly useful. I mean, it really has allowed me to sort of up my game a bit and start playing with some more stuff. I subscribed to Adobe Creative Cloud for the kids this week. I basically discovered that if you sign up for an educational version, as long as you can tell them a school and what you would be taking at that school, they'll let you in as an educational at an educational price. And there's no way to talk to anybody about getting educational pricing unless you're an educational facility that I could find. So I ended up just signing up as a student, and then I'm sharing my subscription with them, and I'm gonna as it's needed, I'll get more of them again at the educational thing. So, what's your pooch, sir? I have a rescue belt. Yes, rescues. Way to go. You've got a rescue. Why are some of them red? Why are some of the... Yeah, how does that work? Why does some of these chat things get highlighted and not others? Um, oh, nice. Spin a breaker. Yes, ours is a rescue. I don't know if it's Akita. Ours is, I think, definitely got some husky in it because it's got those beautiful, or maybe Malamute, those beautiful sort of eyeliner eyes that it has. Any that at you are highlighted red. Oh, is that right? Oh, that's it. So only a few of you figured that out. Now everyone's going to have it. You use some of your channel points to highlight your post. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I have Shepherd Husky Collie mix. That's fantastic, Benoit. That's the way to go. You know, Huzzah. I've got to say, I was very resentful of Huzzah to start. Actually, more resentful of my family because they were responsible for getting me this dog. I had said I was adamant that after Mars, after we had to put Mars down, that I wasn't going to do a dog again because frankly, I was a freaking wreck and I loved that dog. And then the pandemic hit, and you know, it suddenly sort of realized, it dawned on me that my son, who is 13, has always had a dog. Like, and that's not his fault. Like, we had a dog when he was born, so he's grown up with a dog. You know, it really is like he was missing something. And so I think when the pandemic hit and we were stuck at home a lot, and Baz and I were doing a lot of this, sitting around, Jane thought it was a good idea. She initially pitched it to me like, well, we'll get the kid will go out for more walks and stuff. Really what she meant was I would. So Jane will take her out in the morning and I take her out in the evening so she basically gets a dog. She gets the dog park in the morning because Jane is social enough to deal with dog park. I cannot deal with dog parks. Can't do it. Cannot do it. I'm sorry, dog people. I don't want to talk to you. I'm happy to talk to your dogs. I'm happy for your dog to, attack Maul and tackle me in the parks, but I don't want to talk to dog owners. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, I'm so awful about it, but dogs are fun. People aren't. And I get stressed out around all the other dogs. Not even because I'm stressed out around the other dogs, but I'm stressed out around the owners of the other dogs. You just never know what people think is cool or not. We ended up buying a collar for her that is, it's a remote control collar, but it's not a zapper. It doesn't even have it built in. There's not, like some of them you can turn off the zapper part. This one, I refused to buy one that even has a zapper because I didn't want the electrical, I didn't want that any part of that. And I didn't want to promote that. So we got one that just beeps and vibrates. And we're going to try that out and see if that works with her, because she sometimes gets she's a year old. She gets a little rambunctious, and some of the dogs and their owners can't deal with it. So we've got that. She now sleeps on the bed. I now quite enjoy my late night walks. So at the end of the night, I'll take the dog out and I just, put on a podcast, walk around. It's been pouring with rain the last couple of nights here. I don't care. Just dress up, wander around. It's like 45 minutes, an hour. It's just fantastic. Jesse McKay, you had me at chocolate. Chocolate, fan fiction writing, and David. What is better? I mean, really, just the chocolate. I mean, it's more than enough, really. Put a sign on your dog that says, "Don't speak to me." Yeah, it's true. I should just put a T-shirt on that says, "Don't speak to me." Was that great? There was one of the first photos of Helen Bonham Carter that I ever saw was her getting her makeup and hair done for whatever it was, Lady Hawk or something. And she had this huge T-shirt that in Frankie Goes to Hollywood letters said, "Leave me alone." And we all wanted that. We all wanted that T-shirt. So yeah, my human is antisocial. That's a really good one, Ruby K. That would be the go. Yeah, my human bites. Or I'll wear a muzzle. That's what I'll do. When I take the dog to the park, I'll wear a muzzle. That should keep people away. Oh my God, Lilifan, I wear pandemic mask. I don't wear my glasses because they fog up. I can't wear my hearing aids, so I can't hear anybody anyway, so it's fine. Uh, Sunshine Lovely. That is, God, that's such a hard question. The favorite episodes for Stargate Atlantis. This is where I need a fact. I need one of those frequently asked questions that Cal was talking about. We got Cal in here today. What we got here today? Can I see? Is there a way to see that? I can't. Am I in the right thing? I can't even see. What's this? What is this? Active mods. Is that it? Oh my God, we all sorts of people here. Jack Jasper's here. Hello, Jack. Got Jack Jasper, Ruby K, and Cal. Oh, fantastic. Um, oh, that's great. Okay. Yep, the star is here. Cal, no, I wasn't here to remind you about the subbies. Oh, right, of course. I've forgotten that already. See how it's Cal. I mean, it's like I forget her the moment I finish saying her name. It's just extraordinary. How are you, Jack Jasper? Scooty, subscribe. Thank you, Scooty. Um, Jack Jasper, are you back to doing your art streams? Are you back on that yet? Mm. Jesse McKay, I'm with you. I so I started the first time I started wearing my hearing aids were well, first off, I went to get hearing aids because I was really struggling on set. And that's the only thing I was really worried about was being on set. And I had a director say, "Well, fine, don't do that then." And I was like, "Don't do what?" And he'd been talking to me, and I literally I hadn't heard a thing. So I was like, "Yoinks!" And so I went and I got hearing aids. And as I left the building, I got a little verklempt. I got a little, not teary, but I was like, "Oh my God!" It's like I could hear like the power cables. I could hear birds and things. There was a background noise, or no, there was a specificity to the background noise that I had not heard in years, and it was just, yeah, it was amazing. And then the pandemic hit, and I can't wear them. I cannot wear them with the masks because they get caught in the mask. They flick out of my ears. I can't afford to get new ones because to get ones that just sit in my ears. I didn't buy the ones that just sit in my ears because I couldn't wear them on set. And I thought, okay, I'll get the ones that go behind my ears and sneak into my ears, and they're kind of subtle, so that I could wear them on set, or as a in character when I needed to. And then, of course, with the pandemic, even on set, I can't wear them because we're taking masks on and off the whole time, and it just drives me absolutely crazy. So I basically just, as soon as I arrive on set, everyone I talk to, I say, look, just so you know, uh, unless you're actually looking at me, I may not completely comprehend what you've said. So, yes, Amanda Tapping was amazing to work with, Sci-Fi Sadie, very much so. Um, and yeah, so yeah, the hearing aids thing has been. Look, the one thing I'm really interested in is there's an open source hearing aid group that are trying to make these things cheaper and, well, frankly, more flexible. Because I mean, there's so many things I want to do with these hearing aids. Because I'm thinking, like, if I'm gonna augment my hearing, I don't want to just retain I don't want to go back to my original hearing. I want to be better than my original hearing. Like I want to be able to hear bats. That's really my goal. So my hope was if I could get an open source hearing aid set up, I would play with that because I think that would be really fun. You could put a small piece of double-sided medical tape between the body of the hearing aid and the skin to hold it in place, or at least minimize the risk of it popping out with the mask. I could Crazy Pack Mom. No, Crazy Killer's the one right behind you. I was like, Crazy Pack Mom? She's changed her name. Pack Mom. Potentially, except that the other thing that I'm incredibly allergic to, actually, other than not lemons, is tape, like surgical tape, all sorts of stuff. I just have these crazy reaction to it. My skin just blows up. So, stepdaughter has hearing aids and was having the same issues. We made her a mask that goes around the head rather than the ears. Yeah, I should really do that. I mean, that would make a huge difference. But it's that, and it's also my glasses. So neither of these things did I consider when I first got my hearing aids, because of course I take my glasses off to talk to the doctor, and it didn't even occur to me. So what I should do is get the in-ear ones. But again, like the ones I got were not covered by insurance. They were like $6,000. I just who can afford this? Cochlear implants. That would be cool. Come on, then you'd truly be bionic. Except you'd want something you could upgrade, I think. I'll tell you though, I would love to play. In fact, you know what? The Tech Bandits might get a kick out of this too. Um, I wondered about setting us up with with a kit with one of these open source hearing aids kits. I mean, I don't know enough about them to really tell you much more than that. Um, but I would love to set it up so that we could, first off, make cheap hearing aids because it's incredibly, I think it's incredibly evil, frankly, that in this world only people who can afford it can afford to hear. That is just wrong to me. I mean, my sister's kids, one of my others, not Kate, but one of my other sisters. They're like two members of their family can't hear, and basically you get $5,000 for hearing aids. It's absolutely ridiculous. I paid $5,000. I paid $5,000, and that's with all the deductions and stuff because the only ones that were covered by the government here, which apparently everything's covered by according to our healthcare. Well, not hearing aids, it turns out. In fact, they will cover up to $1,000 of your hearing aids because they only cover the basic hearing aids, which just make everything louder. So for someone like me who has specific spectrums of hearing loss and also has, I don't know if that's the right term, I'm sort of just making stuff up. But basically, there are certain levels, certain sounds I don't hear well. And also, when there's any kind of a background sound or specific background sounds, it obliterates the sound of people's voices. Like it's just, I don't hear anything except the sound that I'm hearing. So, I think what I'd like to do is play with something open source that I could then feed into my ear to start with, and then eventually we'd get to the point where we could figure out, then you could be carrying a system. You could be carrying a system with you that's a little bigger than perhaps what we'd normally be dealing with, and maybe it could just be feeding stuff to your ears. I think it'd be great. Starting to lose hearing in my right ear. Doctors do not know what is causing it. Sunshine, lovely. God, it can be so many things, can't it? I mean, obviously, wax is the first one. They always check for wax. They're like, oh, maybe it's just wax. I'm like, yeah, good luck. I spent the last 20 hours trying to make a case to have AMD fix a problem in their upcoming GPUs, Big Navi. And the biggest issue we have is AMD seems to think the issue is low priority. I'd love to post the Reddit link here if it would be allowed to help give additional exposure to the issue. With 1,300 plus votes on the thread, AMD are responding, but our numbers are so few in the grand scheme of things. In short, we need some publicity on the matter. Gnif, yeah, go ahead. Let me permit that. Permit Gnif, because I'm all for making these companies fix these things. So Gnif, you've got like, what is it, 60 seconds to post or something as of now. There you go. Implants, Jesse McKay. Yeah, the implants would be covered here. My masks, Pac Mom, do have nose pieces, but it's I always find that they're fine until you actually go to do anything, and then they fog up. Slight audio processing thing where I have trouble making out voices if there's a lot of background noise. Oh, well, paperclips, that's me. So basically, I have that, but to an extreme, so that I thought I was just antisocial and uncomfortable in social settings, and that I was getting more and more grumpy and uncomfortable in these things. And it turns out I was just getting old and grumpy, but I was also getting deaf. So one of the many stories that I've started and stopped today was going to a Christmas party when I first got them, and all of a sudden, Jane kept coming by to see if I was okay because she thought, oh, maybe maybe I'd want to leave because normally I want to leave before I get there. And I was having a chat with all these people, and I was just like, I could hear what they're saying. It's so much fun. People are a lot more interesting when you can actually hear what they're saying, especially for someone who actually, I mean, not that you would know it, given how much I speak on these things, but I really do enjoy listening to what other people are doing in their lives because it's... how else do you learn, right? I mean, how else do you learn about stuff? Baz was telling me about this wonderful parent that takes the kids into school, drives the kids into school now because of everyone's trying to sort of avoid the subway here, and we don't have a car. So we were going to rent a car, and anyways, they said they would do it because they're going anyways. So anyways, this amazing guy drives the kid in and was telling him stories about the different jobs he'd had over the years. And, those are the kind of things that stay with people. I think they stay with kids maybe more than adults. And I'm a kid, so they stay with me a lot. But I love the idea that that my son came back and sort of regaled me with all of these tales of Len's previous employment, and it was just amazing. Everything from working on oil rigs to being pushed down a slate lake front or something. I mean, just amazing stuff. So, Stargate girl Sophie has Asperger's and proud. So I was told that we don't say Asperger's anymore. That it's now just you are on a spectrum of some sort. Um, but damn right, if you use these things right, I have ADHD. You use them right, they become a superpower. And if I get my hearing sorted out, that will be a superpower too. How long have I been losing my hearing? I did a movie well, I drummed as a kid, and I was very good about wearing giant construction headphones most of the time, but not when we played gigs. And in some of the rehearsals, I didn't wear hearing protection, so that probably had some of it. And then the other one was I was in Bulgaria doing a movie. Was it Morlocks? I think it might have been Morlocks. It may have been earlier than that, but it was a Bulgarian film, and the armorer decided that they were going to blow up this computer in this little room that I was running in to hide in. So I was supposed to run to hide while someone was shooting at us. This guy attached a bunch of things, like squibs and things, to the computer. So they're like little mini explosives, but they can be incredibly loud if they're designed that way. And I was in a very small, like cement room, basically. It was like an old bunker. And so I ran in and sheltered from the fake bullets, and the real one went off in my ear. And and I was staggering around for a good day or so with a really just basically no hearing in my ear at all. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You'll get better. You'll get better. The doctor came and looked and said you were fine. But of course, I wasn't fine, and the damage it just sort of progresses as you get older, apparently. So, heavy metal music in earphones, that could do it too, Jesse McKay. We are the generation of the Walkman, right? So, Shikaro has ADD and ADHD. I'm known at work for having way too much energies. That's good. Good. I mean, that's me too. Everyone always laughs about my squirrel-like mentality where I just bounce from topic to topic. And but the reality is the beauty of ADHD is you have like hyper focus sometimes. Like that's all you can do. Like, when I am doing the Prusa build, I'm completely focused. Like my family has to come down and say, Dad, you're supposed to be making dinner, and it was an hour ago. Like that, that's where I'm at. But the rest of the time, I'm bouncing all over the place. But it means I'm interested in everything. I think of it as a superpower. That's what I tell my son, anyways. Spinnerbreaker gets their hearing check every 6 months, even though I'm in my early 30s, since my work as a warehouse is loud, and I could see one ear getting worse with the use of the voice headset we all use, and everyone has it dialed all the way up to hear it. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, you gotta be careful. So David Tangent Hewlett. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Pac Bomb, there probably would have been had I made a claim. But, acting's one of those weird things. It's changing now, for sure. The younger generation are happier to do this stuff. But, back in my day, when we started out, you just didn't want to cause a fuss. Because you cause a fuss, you don't work. So the reality is, you win a workman's comp settlement, but no one wants to work with you again because they're like, it's the guy who sues people if things go wrong. So which is a stupid way to think of things, but that's sort of how we were brought up with this when I first got into the industry. There was nowhere near the kind of rules and regulations that surrounded the industry. Basically all the mistakes we made growing up in the industry are the ones that are now being remedied by a lot more legislation now. So there's a lot more. I mean, other than the obvious of social justice, equality, and sort of the Black Lives Matter side of stuff, where there's definitely like a need to bring in more than just white Anglo-Saxon males in the camera department and things, and women as well. Women are now better represented in the film industry, but they're still underrepresented considerably. But even just normal work safety stuff. I mean, people do non-union films, and that's how they start in the industry. So you end up working in old warehouses that are, chock full of asbestos dust or copper tailings, or there's just all sorts of places you end up working in the worst places in films. Even like established films will have that, and often you'll get to set and there'll be like a thing on the call sheet that says, oh, by the way, you're working in toxic conditions, but it's okay as long as you don't breathe it too much and you wear your breathing masks. And of course, actors don't wear masks because they're too busy acting. I've been struggling with a sore throat for quite a while. If you know any good remedies, let me know. Yes, Stargate Sophie girl, go get tested. Isn't that the way it works? Generally, if you've got symptoms, go get tested, because the more we know who's got it, the better we can lock it down, right? It may just be a cold, probably is, but you know what? That would be my advice. It's okay as long as you don't breathe. Exactly, Pac Mom. I have a problem focusing. It only focuses on really interesting things. So I read a book and it's boring. My mind will wander and find it hard to focus. I made it hard in school. Rocco 101. Well, welcome to Tech Bandits. I mean, that's really why I'm doing Tech Bandits, because my hope is to get through to kids who were like me, who just I was exactly the same. Oh my God. When I found something I was interested in, like a history book, or like, I remember this, I wish I could remember the name of the book. It was called A Portrait of Canada. There was like this one history book that for some reason was just, hooked me. I read this entire freaking book, like just sucked it up. Whereas I had spent years and years doing Canadian history in the most dullest, boring way. But it does come down to making stuff interesting. So the whole point of Tech Bandits, and the reason why I beg, borrow, and steal money from people for this stuff is that I'm trying to inspire the kids rather than educate them, because I think that's more important. I feel like we have at our disposal the entire collective knowledge of the human race on the internet. We have absolutely everything you could ever want to possibly know available at our fingertips. At any moment, you could go and take a course in anything you want to take, and most of them for free. But you don't do that unless you're interested. And my concern with the kids is that they go to school and then they come home and they don't want anything to do with something that might teach them something, because they've been taught at school that learning is boring. My concern is the kids come in with this wonderful sense of curiosity and sort of wonder about the world, and within by grade 4, basically, they're already saying they hate school and they don't want to be there. So, and I just think it's just I think we could solve many, many issues in the world if we could solve education, because I think a well-educated population will make informed decisions when it comes to voting, when it comes to looking after other people and being sort of conscious of other people and other countries and situations. I think education is absolutely like paramount, and I am the least educated guy around. I dropped out of high school as soon as I could, let's say, and as a result, I got kicked out of the house, and which again, I say that with a certain amount of trepidation, because it sounds kind of sort of angry, but the reality is my father was very wise about that and said, like, if you are old enough to drop out of school, you're old enough to live on your own. And I'm really glad he did that. But again, because of that, I was forced to take more of an interest in the film industry and the work that I was doing, because I needed to get paid for it. And the other thing I discovered was, I just met all these incredibly interesting people on film sets. And, rarely the movie stars, rarely the big names or whatever, but just lots of people who've come to acting from all sorts of different walks of life and different careers. And sort of over the years, in a bid to sort of try to figure out what to do with the time between work, I sort of returned to what I've always loved, which is sort of learning stuff. And now that the internet's here, it's almost impossible to get me off it. Even the Twitch stuff was a learning experience for me, because the idea is that my son wanted to do streaming for a living, and I had no idea what he was talking about. Like, I just didn't know how you did it. I was like, well, no, how do you make a living as a YouTuber? How do you make a living as a Twitch streamer? And because he introduced me to it, now I'm doing this, and now this is how I do my Tech Bandits. I was talking to them last night, because I did a Tech Bandits session last night as well. The kids prefer it because they get to talk to you. they get all this input from different people from all over the place. Hello, Captain Andy. Sorry, I'm missing a bit of the chat, aren't I? I'm just sort of letting it sort of flow by. There's too many people. You can because you're famous. So let up as it was. What's that? You can because you're famous. Well, it's funny. I'm only famous in certain circles, if that makes sense. I'm very fortunate. I'm the most fortunate of famous because I am someone who most people don't know or care who I am. So, which is fine with me. I don't. I'm always surprised when people do know who I am. But because of Stargate, in certain situations, I get a lovely hello or an interested look or someone wants to help me out with things that they wouldn't normally. I mean, yeah, I feel very fortunate. I mean, I would hate to be, I think I would struggle. Look, I got into acting for all the wrong reasons. I got into acting because I wanted to be famous. Like that was it. I wanted to be James Dean. I wanted to be Marlon Brando. I wanted to be an old school movie star. And the weird thing is that the closer you get to that, the less that is important, and the more the sort of the process of getting there becomes the goal. Like I love being on set. I love the whole process of making films and stuff. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I thought the recognition was what I needed, but I realized in doing it that no, I've fallen in love with the process. And it's why that's why I really wanted to try some writing. I wanted to try some directing. I wanted to try, I've played with the cameras and sound, and I love all aspects of it. I just find it. I'm a nerd. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I think I'm the level of fame that I have is fantastic. I would never call myself famous, unless I walk into a comic book store and then or a Magic the Gathering stores. Like most places where you would expect to find people who enjoy Stargate, 10 or whatever years after the fact. They're or subways and airports. That's usually where I run into people. My wife jokes that I say that I never get recognized and that I get recognized every single time I go out. But I don't go out very much, so I don't get recognized very much. And I don't always, especially now, because now, what's interesting is I've actually quite enjoyed the anonymity of the masks. Because when I go out now, no one's ever going to make that connection. Or, I mean, I can't imagine anyone making that connection. I don't recognize most of my friends with masks on. So, Invisible Dimensions loved the sound in A Dog's Breakfast. Yeah, the sound in Dog's Breakfast was brilliant. I mean, we had the most amazing. Well, first off, we had the most amazing composer, Tim Williams. I should put a link to him because he's freaking genius. Not that he needs me. I mean, he works on Guardians of the Galaxy now, and Timothy Williams, I think, is probably what he calls himself now, because he is Timothy. It's funny how as we get older, we go back to our full names. Nope, that is not the Timothy Williams I'm looking for. He's got a website, and I will find it for you. Timothy Williams. Oh, stop asking me things. Not you. Google's asking me things. Composer. That's what I want. Here we go. That is his website. This is this gentleman here. He is absolutely wonderful. He's like a family friend. He is, and he's brilliant. Like he's just absolutely brilliant. He did a musical called about Napoleon, which was just absolutely stunning. I mean, horribly staged here in Toronto to start, but the music is just glorious. And he's. I mean, I can't imagine ever doing a movie without Tim Williams. In fact, he's doing Jane's next movie as well. And I've been very fortunate on that front. I've met a number of people like Neil Acree. I should know that. Neil's another brilliant guy in the music departments. And he worked on Stargate originally, and then went on to do video games as well. But yeah, I can't imagine ever working with anyone other than Tim Williams, because I think he's just extraordinary. Although I hear amazing stuff as well. Let me get you Neil's info as well, because Neil's stuff is pretty freaking amazing as well. Oh my God, look at all the awards. Oh my God, wow, he's changed his website. Oh, that's cool. Holy moly, he's got a lot of awards. So there you go. So that's Neil as well. And Neil, you'll recognize a bunch of stuff from Neil because he is he's from the old Stargate days, and Paperclips knows him. All right, I'm terrible at recognizing people. Had people come up to me who clearly know me, but I have no clue who they are. Yeah, in practice, I'm awful at this. Some people get incredibly offended that I don't remember them, and all I can say is, if I didn't see myself in the mirror every day, I'd probably have a hard time with that too. I don't recognize anybody in a mask. I don't even know what Jane. I mean, it's unless I recognize some clothing that Jane's wearing. I don't recognize Jane. And I'm very careful not to go up and say hi to people unless I'm very aware, unless I'm definite that it is in fact my wife. The kid I can pretty well tell because he's just got a certain bratlet quality to himself that is pretty great. I never recognize people out of context. Jason Momoa walked right past me once. I didn't notice at all. How do you not notice Jason Momoa walking by you? Didn't the ground shake? When you were on SG1, did anyone tease Richard for being MacGyver? I watched the whole show too, and the characters are so similar. MacGyver, I'm sure they must have used the term MacGyvered at some point, didn't they? I think everyone was a little bit in awe of RDA. He is just I mean, there is somebody who probably can't go anywhere without being recognized, and I almost get the sense where that's not necessarily. Look, I shouldn't speak for him, but I get the idea that maybe he's not entirely comfortable with that. He's an absolutely lovely man, RDA. He was very, very charming with my son when my son first visited set as a baby, and we sort of bonded over that in a way where I talked about, I'd spoken with him a few times, and it had always been sort of tertiary kind of conversation. Is that the right word? Am I using the right word? Yeah, see, I love those big words. I never get them right. But yeah, sort of over the years, you'd sort of run into him every so often, say hi, and then yeah, I was on set with a kid, and I remember, and he was just. Yeah, he sort of lit up about it, and I think I felt like he's sort of like a kindred spirit there, where I just I really feel like I'm still a kid. You know what I mean? I know I'm an old man and need to be responsible and all the rest of it, but I think my interests, and my excitement about stuff are very similar to what they were back when I was sort of 13 or 14. Tangential conversation, is that, yeah, maybe it works. Wow, there's lots of, sorry, I'm just randomly grabbing things as they come up. So if I miss you, I apologize, maybe try again. But I'll see what I can do. MacGyvered is, yes, literally become the word for jerry-rigged right now. I'd like to somehow get McCade in there somewhere. I think it would probably have to do with something about losing your temper with someone who's not as smart as you or something like that. But yeah, we've got to somehow turn McCade into a verb somehow. Yeah. David, you talk about being an old soul, but there's still that kid inside of you. Yeah, I think the Pac Mom. I think you're right. I was born to be old. Basically, I am designed for old, old and crotchety. But the reality is, in a strange way, it's a bit like Cocoon. I feel like the reason why the Tech Bandits is so much fun for me is I'm basically just one of the kids. McCade getting lots of technobabble. Yes, getting McCade as an actor. If you get McCade, I guess you would be given pages and pages of dialogue, I suppose. MacGyver, McCade, both legends. I love it. Maybe it just means legend. McCade means you destroyed something so completely no one knows what it was originally. Ooh, that's good. And you're totally banned. Blame Joe for the technobabble. I mean, I talk about Zelenka-ing things all the time. Dr. Fumbles McStupided. Our whatever the bot's called, our Nightbot, I call Zelenka bot because, it's always doing the wrong thing. Oh my gosh, 18 went all McKay on me. Oh really? Your 18-year-old went all McKay on you the other day when I asked what was apparently a dumb question about his new server. I even joked he was going McKay on me. Ooh, you don't want people go. You don't want to be on the other side of that. What do you think about being carried by Jason on SG Atlantis? You mean like from a talent standpoint? He totally carried me. He carried my performance. McKay means screaming at people until you figure it out. That's good. I mean, I talk about going full McKay on people, like full McKay. When I'm, if I'm on, if I'm on the line with customer support and it's not going well, I will sometimes go full McKay. Who was our sixth favorite guest appearance in Atlantis? Why? Who was your favorite guest appearance in Atlantis and why? Oh my God. Favorite guest appearance in Atlantis and why? It's so hard to say. I mean, again, it's like trying to choose your favorite episode. I feel like there were different things I got from different people. I met some amazing, amazing people, and not always actors. You know what I mean? I mean, some of them were, yeah, I met a guy who's become like, well, guy. I've met a ton of people, but specifically like, a fellow by the name of John Raymonds, who I met on set. He'd come on to set for like a some kind of a charity event, he and I ended up having lunch together, and we've just been friends ever since. I mean, I think the guy's just absolutely wonderful. And well, even here, I mean, like God, it's like I went, it's so weird to have long, in-depth chats with Jack Jasra or Cal about stuff because these are people I've never actually physically met, but I feel like they're friends of ours. But that's not really a Stargate question, is it? Stargate wise, oh my God, I mean, anytime Mitch Pileggi showed up was a pleasure. That guy is just, oh my God, it was so much. Almost got to the point where they had to write scenes that we weren't together in a scene because we just cracked each other up too much. Uh-oh. Inthractus is going to run an urgent errand for your neighbor. That's very good of you. Run well, run safe. Pixie Rose! How are you, Pixie Rose? Welcome with your little gecko hearts and sheepy hearts. Oh, is that it? Ah, it's a David Llama. Ah, that's cute. Well, without the pandemic, we would have already met. That's so true, Jack. Yeah, that is true. If it hadn't been for a pandemic, we would have met in Germany. So yeah, favorite guest stars. I don't know. I mean, there was like it was amazing to work with Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, but also God, the fabulous. Oh my God! Oh, this is awful. David Ogden Stiers, who I don't think is with us anymore, but was again just another one who I just lovely, lovely guy. A wonderfully odd fellow, and God, there were so many. And then it was always really fun when the SG1 folk showed up. So you got Amanda Tapping showing up on episodes every so often. I mean, I think probably those were some of my favorite ones for sure. Yeah, he died a few years ago. I know. Yeah, I thought that was the case. And well, I don't even count Robert Picardo as a guest star because that guy, he had his hooks in us from the moment he showed up. That guy he is again wonderful, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about him. He's just one of the most funny, talented, extraordinarily lovely humans you could ever hope to meet. Tori Higginson's also absolutely lovely, but she wasn't a guest star; she was a regular. Who would who would win in a fight, Teal'c or Ronan? I'd probably go with Teal'c, just because I think yeah, I think Chris Judge would probably fight dirty. Yeah, Spinner Breaker. It was a bit like having the SG1 thing flipped over as when Amanda guested on Atlantis. Robert Picardo is so good with inserting comedy into serious situations, and again, so are you. As much as it hurts to say that. Oh, Cal. I know Cal has a deep, deep respect for me and my talent. I know that it's basically just spills out into the text chat. Yeah, because I think Robert and and I like to think me as well. Thank you, Cal. Uh, you know, people don't take things seriously. I mean, you know, people don't get diagnosed with with potential life-threatening things and not joke about it or react the way we see on television. I mean, I think it's important to. I always find the comedy and stuff. I mean, I've been in the most miserable, horrible situations, and you know, for good or bad, I've felt the need to sort of laugh about it, and that's certainly how most of my family deals with this stuff. You know, maybe not my father, but you know, he's a little more stoic. But and actually, yeah, a couple of my sisters would probably be a little bit more stoic as well. But honestly, I think I need that sense of humor. I mean, I need that to get through stuff. In fact, I think, and I also think that's what makes good science fiction. If science fiction takes itself too seriously, it gets all nihilistic and dark and doesn't, to me, it doesn't work for me. There you go. Where did I get my inspiration for McKay? My inspiration for McKay would be the writers. I mean, the writers wrote it, and also the writers were McKay. The writers and producers on this show were so McKay. You know, was it? Oh my gosh! Now chat thinks I'm sick because an almost compliment slipped out. Yeah, Cal, are you okay? Maybe you should get tested for COVID too. Gotta go to work. Crazy killer, go work. Your job isn't as a crazy killer, I hope. Do you enjoy doing conventions or is it not your thing? Stargate lover. That is an interesting question. I both love and odiat amo, as they say. Love and hate. I love conventions when I want to go. When I don't want to go, or I stopped going when I felt like I needed to go, if that makes sense. Like when I felt like I was doing it just for the money, I kind of stopped doing it because it made me feel icky. Now that said, I've also done them sometimes when you know, for other reasons. Like I mean, I've done them to sort of help promote a movie or to you know, that kind of stuff. I just I need to want to be there. I think it's very apparent to people if you don't want to be there. And I worry that it becomes sort of normal for people. I still want it to be kind of exciting. They are exhausting, absolutely exhausting. And I don't know in the future how much more of them I'm going to do because, frankly, given this pandemic and the fact that I'm sick at the end of every convention I've ever done, or stretch of them, you know, I think I sort of approach them in the same way that I approach work, which is, and I think it was Michael Caine who said this. It needs to be art, location, or money, basically. So sometimes you're there because you want to be where the conventions are, and I end up in Australia a lot because of that. Australia, New Zealand, I absolutely love that, and a lot of Europe, and to some extent the States as well. I prefer to be able to go to these things and then be able to sort of turn it into an adventure rather than just go for the convention and get out again. Although I have had to do that a few times as well. So I actually almost prefer the not just Stargate conventions, if that makes sense. Like I almost prefer the ones where there's more money in the Stargate only conventions, and it's nice to talk to the fans at those. But I actually prefer the more sort of sci-fi in general or sci-fi comic book conventions, just because I'm a sci-fi comic book nerd. So I love the idea of meeting other people who might have been in things that I'm excited about, or who've written comics that I haven't read, or you know, and all the merchandise and stuff. Like I love the Comic-Cons of the world. I enjoy that, and I've gotten in trouble a few times going to them, even when I wasn't supposed to. So what was my favorite convention? I think most of my favorite conventions so far have been in Australia or New Zealand. I just they're absolutely well. There was a London Comic Con which I had a great time. Look, the fact of the matter is, again, it's hard to say, but usually because either England or Australia or New Zealand, because we tend to do those as a family, and I think that's what sort of makes it for me. I love doing it with the family. I hate being away from the family. I am the biggest suck on the planet. And if I had my way, this kid would be here right now doing his homeschooling. But my wife won't let me do that because I didn't finish high school. So do you ever think of doing signed pictures online so people can get pictures? A lot of people are doing Stargate art. Yeah, Jesse McKay. I mean, I've got to say, I'm really, really bad at monetizing a lot of this stuff. People are much, much better at this than I am. I feel very uncomfortable with that stuff. But that said, I think, no, I know, Miss Lintz. I totally understand. You did not mean caring as an actor. I said it that way because I thought it was funny. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to be picked up and swept off their feet by Jason? I mean, really, male or female, I defy you to not want that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess I could do pictures. I mean, most people want specifically signed stuff, and the biggest issue I had with that was that I used to get a lot of fan mail asking for autographs, and the problem was just the time and money spent on getting these things out to people was just crazy. I mean, people would send, um, what are they called? What are they used to be called? I mean, I don't know if they still have them anymore, but they used to be sort of like international mail certificates and stuff, which is all very good and well. You still need to, do all the sending stuff off. And I thought, you know what? There's a lot of time for one person when I could do this and be talking to, well, I mean, how many people we got now today? I don't know. No idea. 115 people. There you go. So I could spend 2 hours doing sort of signatures for 200 people at a time, or I could do this and do 115 people once a week. You know what I mean? So I have met people from Star Trek. I've met a bunch of people from Star Trek, in fact, which is always cool. Favorite Star Wars character? Well, this is the funny thing is I wanted to be Han Solo, but the reality is I think I'm more C-3PO than Han Solo. So I think probably I'd have to go with C-3PO because he's more like me. He's also one of the first autographs I ever got was Daniels. God, what's his name? What was his name? Something Daniels. Was like the first autograph I got was Anthony Daniels. That's it. Was Anthony Daniels and Richard Prowse. It was really before any of these conventions were official in any way. I had the old ones. So Anthony Daniels, yeah. Bob's back. Everyone relax. Everyone can relax now. Bob's 381 is back. Ruby K says Cal just excels at knowing everyone. It's so true. I love Shatner. Yeah, Shatner is really fun. I don't think I've met Shatner. I don't. I mean, we have a very good mutual friend who keeps saying that we should meet each other. But I've yet to meet him. I mean, look, he seems like a really interesting guy. And random. Like I can't tell. Like I feel like he's one person one day and another. I can't tell. Like his tweets are all over the place. He really enjoys his tweeting. Yoda is the best. Yoda's pretty great. It's true. Well, any Muppet basically. I based most of my performances on Muppet. So, what is the craziest convention story you can tell? Oh my God. Invisible Dimensions. Thank you. I take that as a compliment. I've always liked Will Wheaton. Not only do I like Will Wheaton, I was buying Will Wheaton's books, years ago. I was so taken with the way he'd approached life post Star Trek and how honest he was in his social media stuff. And as soon as I saw that he had a book out, I bought it and really enjoyed it because he's just got again he was like one of the first people to sort of break that business wall between the world and the character, if that makes sense, and was brave, I think, with that because he was a much maligned character on Star Trek. Yes, and he read Ready Player One. There you go. Will is so warm in person. Oh, that's good. I'm glad to. Again, I've never met Will. I've sort of gone back and forth on Twitter a couple of times, but yeah, I'm a fan of him for sure. All right, where am I doing? Ah, oh, bronze scale. I'm so sorry. Can't be with my family, but I feel like I needed to tell someone. No, I understand that, bronze scale. That's awful. Where are you based, bronze scale? Where's home? Where was he? Um, yeah, you can't physically be there. Ugh. Yeah, yeah. I do know Aaron Douglas. I do. He's a ton of fun. I like that guy. Um, feel like you would be Fozzie Bear. Hey, Froggy baby. Fozzie Bear. Yeah, I guess I could. Well, I was thinking more Beaker, but yeah. Yeah, bronze scale. I'm sorry. There's a great line from a song from a band that I love called Lowest of the Low, and Ron Hawkins is the singer and the songwriter, and he has some lyrics that say, "Let's drink, but not to forget, but to remember instead all the happy years." And I think that's I always, whenever I think of people losing people, I think of that, where it's like I find that, and again, there's nothing anyone can say that isn't, that's going to make any, I'm sure, any difference. But I've just found when I'm dealing with loss, it's about trying to think of the things, try to think of what you had rather than what you've lost, if that makes sense. And then just try to, I guess you just want to try to pass that along to other people, right? Yeah, that is really rough. Um, yeah, yeah. Bronze scale, it's brutal. I mean, this thing is just brutal. I mean, the lack of connection, the lack of humanity in a way, the requirement to be so non-human, non-emotional in this stuff is very difficult. Yeah. My roommate's dog just got diagnosed with a brain tumor. Yikes. It's been a tough week traveling 2 hours every day for his cancer treatments. Oh my God, really? Benoit. Yeah, see, I never know what to do with that because our dog got very, very sick. Mars Bar got very sick, started having seizures and stuff. And I talked to this doc about it, to this vet about it, and he said that he said it's always too soon until it's too late, when it comes to sort of putting a dog down. Um, and not that I'm saying you should do that. I know nothing about what your situation is, but for our situation, I found out what happens with the dogs if they start having seizures, which is what Mars was doing, and the problem with the seizures are they just get worse, and eventually they could die because of them, and it's a very, very uncomfortable way of going. And I felt that spending a lot of money on Mars to try to prolong something that we would have no control over, I felt, and again, I'm not saying that this is what everyone should do. I'm just saying this is what what I decided, or what I feel like I have to decide when it comes to dogs and that kind of stuff, um, is that I feel like rather than spending thousands and thousands of dollars on treatments, that it was better to, have him go off snoring like he did. Um, Snoring and happy. I can't imagine a better way to go, frankly. Well fed and snoring. That's how I'd like to go. And then the money that you aren't spending on him, can save a lot of dogs. You know what I mean? That's all. And in our case, of course, we rescued another dog, so now we're on the same thing again. Um, yeah, yeah. The seizures. I mean, it depends on. Yeah, it depends on why the seizures are happening, how bad they are. Mars was easily 4 years with seizures, but they just started getting really, really bad. And also, he would when he had his seizures, he'd wet himself, and then for the rest of the day he'd just be mortified, like he just like he would literally like slink around the house. It was just awful. So um, yeah, I'm sorry, Benoit. That is really rough. Again, my advice there is just remember that we're the ones who've got to make those decisions, right? I mean, and they could be some pretty tough decisions to make. That's for sure. Um, oh, good, bronze scale. I mean, look, the great thing about this chat, frankly, this whole group thing is that there really is there's like a little community. Like we got our own little group here. Hello, Ruficus bro. Um, so far, it's been getting better. All good, Benoit. That's fantastic. Look, I hope that is the case. And I don't know why I jumped to that side of stuff. Only because I guess because that's what we experienced with it. We did a lot of. Believe me, Mars had a lot of operations. He had hips done. He had all sorts. Oh my God, you could spend a lot on dogs. Um, yeah, I mean that's it, Jesse McKay. I think you just have to. There's no. My father used to sort of in a way joke, I guess, in a wry, dark humor way, used to say that the problem with government healthcare is that it's cheaper to put people down. But with the dog thing, I think it becomes a matter of, for me, it becomes a matter of like how much do you spend to save a dog? That you have to. I think you have to balance how much you're going to spend on saving a dog, and how much good that money could do to other dogs. That's why we only get pound rescues. Like we don't buy dogs because I feel like I would rather donate $1,000 to a pet uh, rescue center than a breeder. Don't tell David Ishii I said that. Like I understand people want purebred dogs and all the rest of it. I completely understand that. I am a nerd. I understand the need to have specifically what you want. But at the same time, I feel like my money would be better spent. I'd rather save like 100 dogs, give them that than spend it on buying a dog. So, sunshine, lovely. What do we got? And again, these are just my opinions. I'm not judging anybody if they do anything different. It's just my own take on it. Yes, quality over quantity. I agree with you. German Shepherd has a dog version of ALS. Wow, and his back legs are going. But I clean his mane and clean and care for him and do what I can. He's a sweet old boy at 11 years old. The shepherds have a really hard time with their back legs, don't they? Mars was part shepherd and part corgi. I don't want to know the party that happened there, but what was Rodney's password and why? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's probably like pi to 64 places. Or no, it wouldn't be 64 places because you'd have to have, right, yeah. I mean, I guess it would have to be just like, to 63 places or something. On a happier note, woohoo, Cal. Cal's always good at bringing us out of our funk. On a happier note, I brought CO2 neutral bananas today. Didn't know that was a thing. Cal, were you listening to our Tech Bandits yesterday? You totally were, weren't you? Are we changing the great Cal? Are we changing you? Are we steering you off the path of destruction and into the world of saving the world? We had the best discussion with the kids yesterday about, we were talking about asteroid mining, and in this amazing video that Kurzgesagt did about asteroid mining, they mentioned the fact that a lot of these rare earth minerals and stuff that are mined from our planet currently are mined by like kids, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, grown-ups in horrible conditions. Incredibly dangerous mines, incredibly unhealthy conditions, and in many cases, child labor. And all of these things are ending up on our phones. So I said to the kids, like, what do we do? How do we fix this? And there were these amazing ideas that came up from them. We're talking about 12, 13-year-old kids talking about, well, what about adding $10 to the price of every $1,000 iPhone, and then that money could be used to create schools and healthcare and retraining and stuff for the communities that are sort of being what's the term called? Being used for this stuff. I've lost the power to eat. Yes, exactly. I've lost the power to eat. I've lost the power to speak, and I've got no excuse because I actually ate lunch too. Yes. So these kids are being exploited. There you go. Are being exploited by and someone's actually Lilifin. There you go. You beat me to it, Lilifin. Yes, exploited. So these kids and people are being exploited or basically enslaved by military, basically people with guns, with the guys with guns, and forced to work in the mines, and then they sell this stuff to various different companies. Apparently a number of them in China, because apparently China is the only evil in the world if you ask anyone from America, and I am from America. So probably American companies, well, definitely American companies as well, because it's finding itself in every single, it's finding itself in like every single piece of electronics out there, from laptops to phones to from iPhones to Samsung laptops to to Microsoft Surface pads and stuff. So who's Apologizing? Bronze Scale is apologizing. Bronze Scale has nothing to apologize about. That's look. I mean, that's these this is one of those things that sorry to bring the mood down. Back to positivity. No, it's not like that's. Look, here's the thing. This what is it? Death and taxes, the only two things that we know are coming, and for some reason we don't talk about it. I mean, we talk about taxes a lot, but we don't talk about the fact that we're all at some point going to be faced with this, either ourselves, well, certainly ourselves, but also with people that we love and are near and dear to us. So I see no. It's not about bringing the mood down. It's about, I think there's a certain aspect of it that I feel the need to be respectful of of your loss and what you're going through. But I also think that it's important to know that that this is something that happens all the time, and we have to start making it less of a taboo subject in society. I try to talk about it with Baz all the time, not all the time, not constantly, but I want him to be aware of it. I mean, I never understood the "I will never leave you" thing, because it's like, well, I will leave you, because eventually, hopefully, before you, I will be passing away. And I think it's sort of important to know that, and to sort of keep that not in the back of your mind all the time, but to be respectful of the life that we're living, because it is precious. And I think that, I mean, one of my concerns with religion in many ways, I'm sure this will maybe, I hope not to offend anybody, but certainly my belief system is, I believe entirely in science. I don't believe in any religious beliefs. And part of my concern with religious beliefs is that there is this idea that there is a better thing to go to, and I think that can make us less, less protective of what we have here now. My concern is if you think that what you do can be forgiven later, or can be, or will somehow reward you better in another life. I feel that can lead to a lot of problems in society. So, all right, Lady Shelley gets a ding ding. What's that for? Usually Twitch will notify me, but I never did. Oh no, Turtle Princess. Who has heard of Who Give a Crap? Who has heard of Who Give a Crap? I don't know. It's about coming together and helping each other. Yeah, I mean, look. One of the great things about the Stargate Bunch, and most of these people are Stargate Bunch, or 3D Printing Bunch for that matter, because they're also, the reality is just communities in general. Communities of people tend to care for the people in their communities, and so the larger the community gets, the better that is for everybody. So, I don't. I mean, Bronscale, you should not be worried at all about sharing this stuff. I don't understand when, I agree, Bronscale. I don't understand when parents hide pet deaths and similar stuff. I don't understand not talking about things. I think we pretend that kids don't understand or see this stuff. Baz has had a couple of absolutely horrendous experiences. As many of us have growing up. But Baz witnessed a horrific. I don't know whether it was an attack or just a driver under the influence, and he literally saw a woman killed by a guy in a car. Was responsible for telling the police what had happened. Responsible for, like, literally had to tell people that there was someone under the car. And he doesn't talk about it at all. I cannot get anything out about it. And I hope one day we will be able to talk about that more. It comes up every so often. I lost a friend when I was his age, in an accident, in a drowning accident. The kid drowned, and myself and my classmates watched him drown. I mean, and you don't lose that ever. I mean, you never. I mean, I can't imagine what people in countries where this stuff is happening all the time in a more violent manner. I can't imagine the kind of difference that makes to a brain. And at the same time, I feel like it does. You need to be able to talk about this stuff. I mean, and not in a like a, oh, poor me stuff. I by no means want to get that across. Just that I feel like, I was lucky. I was lucky in that as British as my father was, in my growing up, I'm able to talk to my parents about stuff. I was always able to talk to my parents about stuff. I had younger sisters who I could talk to, who were pretty useless on this stuff. No, Moira was great. Moira was like a year younger than me, so Moira was probably way ahead of me. Moira was way ahead of me because she's much smarter. But I think I think you do the worst thing I think to do is to just to suck this stuff up. I mean, I think you can. My father always says that sometimes there's a peril in talking too much about stuff. My father says sometimes he wishes that everything was just. I think my father will talk about nothing basically. To the point where it's almost like a joke. But I feel quite the opposite. And one of the things that I wanted with Baz was that we would be able to talk about everything. The poor kid. I mean, I keep trying to bring up sex and things, just because I want to make sure that he's aware that, he's watching hello, Natalie's Winter, rating with a party of 5. Welcome to my depressing stream. Yeah, Bronze Scale, you have not brought this down. That's my job. Do you and Kate have the same? Anyway, so yes, me and Kate have exactly the same dynamic in real life as we do in the show. We both are mercilessly brutal to each other. Oh, man. Benoit, I'm sorry. You lost a sister, too. God. And yes, Sci-Fi Sadie, NASA should build a Stargate. It's so weird in these conversations because I think it's very important to be respectful of this stuff. At the same time, I also know that the dynamic of the chat is such that if you're bringing this stuff up, I hope you understand that we're gonna bounce around a bit with this stuff. So, Ruby Case says, my family doesn't really talk about our feelings at all, ever. But my best friend's family will talk about feelings and mental health, and as a result, I'm closer to my in-laws than my own family. Yeah, I mean, that happens. That's definitely. I think that's. I think that talking helps, but maybe some people don't. When are you going to drag Kate in here to visit with us? Kate's busy. Kate's doing like 50 things right now. Kate has no time for me. If there was a Stargate in real life, would you go through it in a second? Captain Andy, what kind of a question is that? Of course. I'd push Kate through first, but what's the subject matter? I don't want to say something wrong. Mundle 19, you can say nothing wrong here. We're welcome to discuss just about anything, although I try to avoid politics. Not to be fair. Bronze Scale, check Ironham's Discord. Okay, thank you, Pixie Rose. Bronze Scale, you out of here? I have to go. A family Zoom so we can remember the good times. But thank you so much, Dave, for the chat. You are lovely people. Bronze Scale. Seriously, lots of love, my friend. You look after yourself. I mean, that's what you have to do now, right? Is you got to protect yourself. You got to look after yourself and make sure you eat. Make sure you get exercise, and again, make sure that you remember the happy stuff, not what you've lost. So. And that's all I can think of saying, other than our love to you, my friend. All right. Joe's stream talks about politics. I'm sure. Well, Joe's very smart in this regard. I think Joe was a Republican originally. I'm not sure if he still is, but Joe is very active in politics. Always has been. I mean, I think he worked for one of the Bushes at one point. In their election stuff. So, yes, virtual hugs, Bronze Scale. That's it. Virtual hugs. Sybil. Nope. What's this? Yes. What? Nope. Yes. That's wild. I didn't know your Stargate sister is your actual sister. You didn't know that, Fallen J17? I know, because she's not nearly as attractive as me. It's so true. Well, for anyone who's dealing with grief, can read what I wrote in the chat channel. Oh, there you go. Okay, so Pixie Rose. Pixie Rose she's got this covered. He still is, and yes, Bush Sr. Wait a sec, he still is working for Bush Sr.? I find that hard to believe. How long did it take the Wraith makeup? Oh my God, the Wraith makeup? I wouldn't even know. The poor Wraiths were in at like 4 a.m. every morning, and we would show up at we'd saunter in at 8 after they'd done 4 hours of makeup and then shoot for a 12-hour day or whatever. Hal worked in the basement for the reps. I don't know what that means, Bob381. Well, if the Stargate is a wormhole, then it's fine to go through it. If it's kind of a teleporter, they usually create a copy of you and kill you, or at least that's how it works in TNG. Then, hell nah. I mean, if I'm not going to get the experience out of it, no. I mean, I want the experience of going through a wormhole. And in fact, did anyone ever look that up? There was a is it CERN? I think it's CERN. Someone is doing a test right now that could potentially prove or disprove the existence of wormholes and how black holes work as well, which is kind of amazing. My sister is amazing, amazingly obnoxious. Joe has made it very clear he's voting Democratic this year, but grew up Republican. Yeah, I mean, what? Yes, yes. I'm not talking politics. I'm not going there. I've made my I have made my lack of respect for the current president and the party that supports him, which I don't believe should be called Republican. I have made that very clear. And I think, forget even the politics. I find it, I don't know how anyone can get past the man himself. But so I will most certainly be voting Democratic myself. And again, I say that I am definitely more of a conservative. I always have been more of a conservative. I've always sort of believed more in sort of a fiscal responsibility and a lack of government intervention. But now that, well, it's been changing for a while. But COVID specifically, the haves and the have-nots are becoming ridiculously far apart, and I feel like it's time we start looking after each other more. So I'm probably going. I'm going more. I'm definitely going more left now. It seems. But again, I was raised to be very, very skeptical and nervous about government intervention and stuff. So there you go. Demi Lovato wrote a song addressing him. It's ballsy and admirable. Demi Lovato, is she the one who goes, "What if rich, white, straight men didn't rule the world anymore?" Mail-in voting for the win here in Colorado. I have already voted because I am American. What show would I love to have a part on? Doctor Who? But I want to be the Doctor, or the Master, or a companion, or a Dalek, or a Cyberman. Well, no, that's so much costume involved. Davros. Oh my God. Yeah, if I could play Davros, I would be like, that'd be it. I would like literally like Davros would be that would be my goal. I don't know if they've done Davros recently, but my God, he was like he was like he was just like the ultimate evil. And in this, he was like Hitler from the robot up, if that makes sense. He's like half Hitler, half psychotic robot. He was just, what an amazing character to play. I know I hate prosthetics, but that's how much I love Davros. Not that I love Davros, but he terrified me as a child. You know, Doctor Who's fantastic. Doctor Who, what is the middle like in Canada? The right in Sweden are very left compared to America. Yes, the right is very left when compared to America here as well. I don't think we really have. I think we're all sort of middle left here. I would say would be the way of putting it. Wrinkly evil, exactly. Last time I can recall seeing him was about 10 years ago. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, I loved him. Yeah, so if you guys want to start a petition for me to be Davros, I'm there. I'm absolutely there. No, it's all comedy for me. Left in the U.S., it's all comedy for me. Left in the U.S. is still equal to the right in my country. Left in the U.S. is still equal to the right in my... Really? Wow. I remember watching Doctor Who on PBS. Me too. I used to watch it too on PBS. Doctor Who was on PBS, and we used to get it because we used to get the Buffalo stations here. So I used to watch Doctor Who. Oh my God, I loved it. I freaking loved it. I mean, I really just could not get enough Doctor Who. And, I'd have to record it with my giant VHS tape recorder that had fake wood paneling on it. Why is Eureka so connected to Atlantis? Which writers made this happen? Eureka was shooting in Vancouver at the same time as Atlantis. So that could possibly be the reason for the connections there. Yeah, I mean, that filmed basically the same time. Yeah, I think it was basically exactly the same years as. Yeah, I think it was basically the same years that we were shooting Stargate Atlantis, I believe. But I'd have to check. Let's see. When did it shoot? Years. See all. Let's see all the years. So it was basically they were airing. I don't know. when were they airing? I can't see this here. So 2006 to 2012. They went 6 years. I didn't know that. Yes, so we would have been on. We would have been filming the same time. So, but I was, yeah, I really, that was a show that would have been fun to be part of. Partially just because I love Colin Ferguson. I think Colin Ferguson is just like one of the most. Just again, just really cool guy. I want to be Colin Ferguson when I grow up. He used to. I think he used to like edit. He used to be like an editor, and he used to like literally do like edit like these really dodgy like pornos and things like that. And he was just he was a guy who'd sort of earned his way in the industry. And he's funny, he's smart, huge fan of Colin Ferguson. The robot in Eureka was SG2 in Atlantis. There you go. Eureka, Warehouse 13, SGA, all fun sci-fi, science-y shows. Never really got into Warehouse 13. I gotta say. Blake 7. My God, I remember Blake 7. Yes, of course. It was a little bit before my time. So I was watching the odd rerun. But honestly, it was that and also the Tomorrow People. Oh my God, I loved the Tomorrow People. I so wanted to be Tomorrow. I tried watching the Tomorrow People the other day, and man, it does not hold up well. But I loved it. I didn't see the remake. Did anyone watch the remake of the Tomorrow People? I'd be curious to know what they thought of that. If you had to pick one, I'd pick Firefly. Well, Firefly was pretty freaking great, I gotta say. It did not. Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh my God, I loved that. I have the whole set of the books somewhere. And then I love the old BBC series as well, the TV one. I know there was a radio one as well. No spoilers for Firefly. Cal has not seen it. Cal, we're not. What do you mean no spoilers? The show's been off the air for 1,000 years. If Cal can't be bothered to watch it, I say ruin it for her. Anyways, what's to ruin? Z Nation. Oh, I suppose you could ruin it by talking about the movie. Anyways, what do we got? Z Nation was good for the first couple of seasons, but then the comedy aspect of it just went off the rails. I did. Again, it wasn't one of those ones that I watched, to be honest. Although a friend of mine actually wrote it. So Firefly, I'll try Firefly after you finish RDR2. RDR2. What? The Butler did it, Cal. Exactly. The Expanse. Oh, I read the book, and I loved the book. And I loved the first, the first season. I watched a bunch of the first season, but I didn't keep up with it, which I suppose I should have. But I just find it very hard. I find it very hard to keep up with these things. What to ruin? Someone who was on Atlantis was also on Firefly? Interesting. Let me see. Cal eyes her TV. Maybe I'll put in a few hours after David's done. David's never done. Hey, by the way, Walter 3D. Walter 3D. Country 3D. Are we talking live today? Are we am I doing a show with you, or are we just chatting? Are we just catching up? Thomas Jane. Oh my God, I love Thomas Jane. He's apparently totally nuts. He wears like bare feet all the time or something. I don't know anything about him, but that's what I heard. He's brilliant. Have you seen him in that amazing Stephen King? Oh, he does the Stephen King one that was so freaky, like 1940 something, or it's like a date. It was freaking great. He's a great Punisher. He's just Thomas Jane, big fan. And also, you know who else is? What was it? I want to say Dumbledore's son, but it wasn't. Was it? Was it Dumbledore? Maybe it was Dumbledore's, the original Dumbledore's son. 1922. Is that what it was? Yeah, 1922. I thought he was freaking genius in that. Like terrifyingly brilliant, I would go so far as saying. Harris. Oh my God. Richard Harris's son is on the first season. Is the first season of The Expanse, and like I basically every time I see him in anything, he's also in that brilliant Chernobyl series, which I know is wildly inaccurate, but it was still brilliant. He is he's brilliant. Like he makes you want to quit acting. I'm like, what's the point? He's got it, you know. Country had to pay bills. He said he would see you at 4:30. Okay, 4:30. Very good. He was in Fringe. He's great. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Loviak lost the connection. My God, what have you missed? Star Trek Discovery. I've actually really enjoyed Star Trek Discovery. I started it, and then I sort of it started doing some bottle shows. Like it started doing those sort of standalone shows that were really just seemed out of place. And I sort of, again, I didn't go back to it. I am awful about watching shows now. I mean, the reality is, yeah, I've lost a lot of I've lost track of a lot of shows. Oh, the Stargate D&D game. Let's do this. Fizzban Wolf says, "Hey David, new here. Please get the band back together." God, yeah, you and everybody else here, Fizzban Wolf. I would love that, but there seems to be a lot of legal reasons why we can't do that. I wish I could. If I had the power to, I would. So would Joe. I know that. Okay, so what was I going to say? Fitzban Wolf. D&D game. That's right. Who's asking for that? Mr. Clean Tracy. So Mr. Clean Tracy, the Stargate RPG game. To me, what excites me about this game is that first off, it's based on 5th edition D&D. The great and wonderful James Gurney walked me through a game. I'd played a game once with them, and I just felt like useless because I didn't know what I was doing, and it was frustrating not to. The Roll20 stuff I wasn't used to and stuff. So so much of the D&D stuff is now automated, which is sort of a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's much easier for streaming. It's a curse because you don't get to roll the dice and write things down, scratch things on paper and things. But James Gurney did an amazing job of walking me through Roll20 using the game. Like created a whole little adventure that was designed specifically to get me to use a lot of the different mechanics of the game. So huge thanks to him for that. I'm actually really looking forward to playing with him again. I'd kind of like to do just a D&D with him at some point. But we could do RPGs. We could do this Stargate one too. I like this Stargate one because I am asked all the time to do talks about Stargate. So like podcasts and interviews and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I get asked literally. There's probably, if I looked at my email right now, there's probably like 6 or 7 people asking about it. And I've got to the point where it's like, I've got nothing new to talk about. Like, I just don't, there's only so many times that I can do like a formal interview. I'm happy to do it here, happy to chat it here. But I was like, why do people want to do another, let's go back over stuff that I probably remember it less than you do at this point because most of you have watched it more than I have. I just lived it. So I was sort of struggling with that, and I was sort of beginning to turn down a bunch of them. And still do, by the way, so don't be offended if you're one of those people. So then the RPG game came along, and I was a little skeptical because this, MGM starts these things all the time and then usually tanks them, destroys them, torpedoes them in some way, shape, or form. I hope they don't do this with this because I really like the folks at Wyvern Gaming. They've done a really good job with it. And I feel like, and again, I'm not connected with it in any way. I literally have just played the game as a nerd who wanted to try some more D&D again after many years in the hopes of getting his son into it as well. And so I said yes to this first play of the game. And I went through the manuals and I just really enjoyed the process. And then did this brush up with James Gurney and then did another one on Sunday with David Blue and Alexis Cruz and just a whole bunch of people. You'd have to look it up because I'll never get the list right. And it was really, really fun. I think I prefer slightly smaller games. I think there's too many. If you get too many people into the game, I find as a player with my ADHD, I get distracted. So I like the smaller, faster moving games. And I think from a kid's perspective, thus my perspective, that's probably what we'll try doing. But what I like about it is that it's designed not as a campaign. Like Dungeons and Dragons is all about campaigns that you go on for days, and that's fantastic. But it's very different to me because the Stargate RPG is designed as episodes. Like they're literally using television terminology in the game, and I just really appreciated that. And to me, it brought a freshness, like a new perspective and a new way of approaching the canon or the non-canon or just playing with the Stargate universe in a way that I wouldn't have thought of before. And of course, it just makes perfect sense. I mean, the Stargate lore, all of the canon of Stargate stuff is so perfectly suited for Dungeons and Dragons. It's just amazing. Cooperative storytelling. Yes, Ruby K, indeed. James is driving and would love to play D&D with you soon. Oh, very good. Thank you, James. Yeah, seriously. So James Gurney, who was just posted there, was responsible for getting me up to speed on that stuff, and it really helped, James. I mean, it really did. But as I say, as much as I really enjoyed the last game, but I prefer the smaller games. I think as you say, someone was saying 4 people. I think 4 people would be like the max for me. Hope I don't get kicked out of the club, but I never played a D&D game. Never played a D&D game. No, Pac-Mom, you're not out of the group. That's fine. David Blue said it's playable fan fiction. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, but it's even more than that, because it's like you get to write it as you go along. Like, you're not just playing someone else's fiction. You are getting to sort of put your own sort of personality and foibles, in my case, into the characters. So, so I'm playing an Unas, a giant green warrior, and because I figured that that's what McKay would play. He would want to play something that, in his mind, is what he was, a highly intelligent, well, in his mind, a highly intelligent but brutal warrior. Because I think McKay always fancied himself as a hero. He was a reluctant hero, but I think in his mind he saw himself as a heroic figure. So I kind of thought it'd be kind of fun to basically play an Unas, but with McKay's personality. So I get to be me, basically, as a giant green alien. Is it a PC or a phone app? It is. It's called Roll20 is what they're using. But if you go to Wyvern Gaming, there's a whole thing. You can. I don't know if you can still. Actually, yeah. You know what? I think the Kickstarter's still going, so you can still buy the books and stuff. And I think they're looking into doing little figures and things. Although I hope they give me the 3D. I hope they give me the 3D models, because I'll use the new 3D printer to do it. Wait a sec. Whoa. What's sec? Cal, what did you not like? Wasn't there a plan for an MMO Stargate back in the day? I wish I could have been a beta tester, Cal. I do not understand how they have not been able to pull off a massively multiplayer online version of Stargate. Because that, again, just seems... I said to them, when they were first talking about it, when I was still working on Stargate Atlantis, they were talking about a theme park... Excuse me, they were talking about a theme park attraction, a Stargate theme park attraction, where a hologram, where a McKay hologram would basically be the one who walks you through it, which I think would have just been freaking hilarious. So they were talking about that, and they were talking about this massively multiplayer online gaming. And I said, look, you know what I said you should do is you should just book us, like, as characters, like literally book me to play McKay, like once a week at a certain time of day. McKay would show up in the massively online universe. And it's basically a bid for me to try to get paid to play video games. Even before the YouTube stuff, now I think about it. I'm so ahead of things. But I just thought that would have been so cool. Wouldn't it be? Like, if you just, like, keep that McKay character back, no one's allowed to play it except me. Because I would be playing it in character. So, I don't know, I just thought that'd be kind of fun. But yes. Well, Fizzban, if you want to play something, if you wanted to get a little Stargate Atlantis or Stargate SG-1 in there, there's a mod for Gary's. Is it Gary's mod? Is that what it's called? Gary's mod. There is a Stargate, version of that. But there's also the Stargate Network, which is these brilliant bunch of French VFX folks who are building an absolutely gorgeous, we're building an absolutely gorgeous Atlantis. Does someone have and there's a Stargate mod for Ark, although it's really kludgy. Cool 25. I played the Stargate mod, and oh my god, it would just crash all the time. There was a Stargate first-person shooter game, which was like 97%, and then got canceled. Be Still My Heart. That could have been cool. I mean, I feel like I feel like MGM starts things and then drops them before, like they just spend money on the lawyers and the meetings and the executives, and then they drop them before anything good comes out of it. What's Stargate Network exactly? Can someone, Stargate Lover, can someone help Stargate Lover out on that? I don't have the links, um, but and if someone needs it, let me know. They went bankrupt and MGM took back the IP. Yeah. I mean, I think what's smart about this one. Um, oh well, then yeah, narrative-driven RPG game. Then Shine 416. Does that mean you're Toronto based? Are you Toronto based? Woohoo! Shine 416. Then you'll love the Wyvern Gaming one. You'll absolutely love it. I honestly I really it always sounds so fake coming from an actor in the show, but I swear to God, I'm like nothing to do with it. Like not like I they called to talk to me about it, whether I would help them out with it, and I was like, yeah, sure, let me play it. You know, I am doing Game Bandits tomorrow, and it's going to be freaking great. Tomorrow, I think we're going to try playing Among Us. I think the kids will like that. But I also have a little bit of news stuff that I want to talk to them about first, which could be interesting, including how politics has entered the gaming world, which I thought was kind of neat. There you go, Cal. Thank you very much. Stargate the RPG. That is the game URL. Does anyone know Stargate Network? Is there a link for Stargate Network? It's. I don't think it's just VR. I mean, I've played it. I've played the game, the Stargate Network, without not played it. I've walked through a few of the sets on the Stargate Network, and it was not. It wasn't. It was not a. It was not a VR game. It was. It was just a. It was on screen. Dude, 0.101. 0.101. It's taken you this long to find out I streamed with a name like 0 Point, or as I would say, Z Point. Well, welcome. Thank you for seeking us out and finding us. You've got a nice bunch of people here who will, I think, probably echo your enjoyment of the whole Stargate thing. So everybody, let's welcome 0.101. Rocco 101. It's a lot of 101s around here. Rocco 101. Cool little bit. Sorry, but didn't mean the spoiler. You got ways to go to the episode I was talking about, though. Yeah. All right, I missed that. Someone else's conversation. Alexander the OK. You just found out as well. Okay, that's fine. But you have more of an excuse, Alexander the OK, because you are Alexander the OK, not ZPM. Politics can get out and stay out of gaming, in my opinion. Evolution 219, politics is in everything now. Yeah, it's kind of shocking. Well, it's shocking that we even have to take. I don't know about you, but between COVID and American politics, not even just American politics, world politics now. I'm listening to the news more than I ever used to. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wish the politics would say I'm not nice. That you felt the need. Was it? You felt the need to say that, Cal? Everyone knows you're not nice. Mr. Tracy Clean. Mr. Clean Tracy says, welcome to the Hewlett Gang. The Hewlett Gang. There you go. What are we calling ourselves? The DHDs. The David Hewlett Devotees? That sounds a bit cult-like. Maybe we should start a cult. Maybe that's the way to go. Cults. Big money in cults. Those ZPMs look like hard plastic and very fragile. They were a hard plastic. They were not particularly fragile. They were pretty robust, I gotta say. Although I gotta say, since then, I've seen like Father Ballester. Ballester? Oh, God, I'm so bad at names. Padre from Twit TV. He's done a beautiful 3D printed one. I think I'd almost want to do it with resin, I think, because the resin, I think, would look better. But, we say Zed in South Africa. Very good, Rocco 101, as you should. Where in South Africa, Zed? Zed. Rocco 101. I've been to Mauritius, and I've been to Pretoria, and where else have I been? I think that's it. I may have been around Johannesburg, Joburg, around there. Amazing place. Africa, like Australia, is a place that gets into your dreams very quickly. I know that sounds weird, but it's so strikingly different than what my North American and European upbringing is used to, that the colors of the earth and the sky and the vegetation and stuff, and I mean, was literally got it showed up in my dreams. Like it was amazing. It was amazing that way. God, this chair is so creaky. It's as creaky as I am. Gotta fix up that puddle jumper chair. 3 messages were deleted. Oh boy, Cal's at it again. David said, everyone here is nice. I guess I forgot of the excitement, poor ancient brain. You're right, Cal. Ruby K says, yeah, politics is everything. You can't get away from it. It's just a matter of how blatant it is. Look, I don't mind politics. I have no problems with talking politics. But I don't feel like we're talking politics anymore. I feel like we're talking almost religion. Like I feel like the blue and red have become like the cults of the blue and cults of the red, and never shall the purple be. I feel like you're either Republican or you're Democrat or you're, there's no sort of mixing of the two, and there's no or very little political discourse that doesn't dissolve into just name calling and whatever. And I'm guilty of that too. My God, I mean, like the one and only tweet I made about our president was incredibly negative because I'm just disgusted by the way he treats people, frankly. I mean, I'm sure, like Obama before him has said, they're bad people do good things and good people do bad things. So, so maybe there's some good that has come out of his presidency. But I think but more importantly, what I'm worried about is I just don't think he's a good person. That's my issue. Is I don't see him showing the kind of respect that I would want shown me or the people who even my enemies for that matter. You know what I mean? I should start a cult. I should totally start a cult. The DHD is David Hewlett Discourse. Oh, I like that. Except it's got my name in it. I always hate things. It's like people giving me photos of myself. I'm like, what am I going to do? I put them in the bathroom, by the way. Just so you know. I got pictures of myself always end up in the bathroom, just so you know. He's not even a good Bond villain. I know, it's true. Who's a good Bond villain is Putin. Holy moly. That guy could just walk into any Bond movie and fit right in. It's amazing. Do I have enemies? Yes, we all have enemies. I don't think you do anything in this world. You can't do anything of any importance in this world without making enemies. And I think that's part of one of the things that I have learned as an actor, branching out into other things, is that as an actor, you can try to make everybody love you. I mean, that's sort of what your job as an actor is, to try to make people like you. But as you sort of go beyond that desperate need to be loved and wanted, you start doing things. And as soon as you start making decisions of any sort, there's people who will disagree with you, and there are people who will, so yes. So yes, I have enemies in the same way that anyone else does. As I get older, usually when there's an argument of any sort with people, I used to just get angry and then never speak to them again, basically. Now I do everything I can to sort it out. Like I will call, I will email, I will harass to a point, and then if people don't want to talk, then I respect that. But I feel the need to at least put everything out there. Like literally just try to put aside. One of my best examples for me of how this can work. I had a friend of mine who we were like, there's a group of us who were like inseparable in Toronto a number of years ago. And I had a falling out with this guy, and we both drank a lot, and I truly don't remember what it was, but there was in my mind, a huge sort of schism. Is that the right, or chasm created between us. We had a huge argument about something that I don't remember what it was, and I never spoke to him again. And I don't know, 6-7 years go by, and I saw him at an airport, and I was like, "Whoa, there's that guy again," And then I was like, "Why am I mad at him?" And I was like, "Oh, because of no." I was like, "Why am I?" And so I was like, "Okay, this is ridiculous." So instead of like continuing my macho, toxic, masculine bullshit, I thought, okay, and it's the first time I'd ever done this, by the way. Like I was like, my heart's going, and everything. I walked up to him and I said, I don't know why I'm angry at you, but you were a friend of mine, and I would like us to talk again. And he like, he looked so relieved, like, because he was doing the same thing kind of, but he looked so relieved, and we've been. I mean, he's become an incredibly good friend of mine. Incredibly talented guy, by the way. But you know, so um, you know, I feel like you should do everything you can. I don't mean to. I don't sound like a hippie here, but because I also believe that it's important to voice your concerns, and if you're angry about something, you should get angry about stuff. I think that's right. But I think the idea that you can, after 6 years, forget what it was that broke up a friendship, I just, you know, it's weird. I mean, look, I've gone through times, even with with sisters and stuff. I've gone through times where it's just, not talking, and I just think eventually, I'm not sure that you have to talk about everything, but I think that the idea that you can sort of look beyond whatever the argument is very important. And I feel like that's not happening online now. And I feel like whenever people start bringing around, I think that's nice, Freddie the Fish. I like that. Yeah, life is short, dude. Best way to heal is to smile. Um, yeah, I feel like when it comes to any kind of opinions online, it goes toxic so quickly. I can't understand it. What is it? It's happening. DMCA takedowns have begun on Twitch. Why, Evolution? What does that mean? What does that mean, Evolution 219? For like, what do you mean DMCA? Um, like for things that aren't supposed to, things that are that like copyright stuff. Is that what you mean? Um, yeah, well, that's something else, Mr. Clean Tracy. And I noticed that with the kids, where I'm like, okay, you know what? Your friends would never say that to your face, Baz. Why are they saying it online? And I mean, Baz gets triggered pretty quick too. Like he's the same as me. I'm awful that way. But as I've got older, you know, I'm way too lazy to hold grudges. I think I'm too forgetful to hold grudges anymore. Grudges take too much emotional energy. Oh my God, there's this beautiful, beautiful um, interview with this guy from the Democratic Republic of Congo who was talking about um, the the is it the Hutus and the Tutsis? I believe. Pardon me if I get it wrong. But at one point, it was suddenly decided that they were at war, and I should get this right because I don't know the politics on this. But it was basically in looking at the information about these rare earth mines and stuff. It was about the idea that these two people who lived together. He was married to I guess I may get this wrong, but I believe he was married to a Tutsi, and he was a Hutu. And one day, his fellow Hutus walked into the house and said, "We're here to kill the snake." And he's like, "Snake? What snake?" And then his wife came out thinking that these were his friends and said hello, and they said, "This is the snake." And they murdered her in front of her family. And he talks about how he discovered that the people who had done it had returned. They sort of escaped into the jungle, and then they'd returned, and he sort of set about trying. He got some people together and he went to kill them. And he says he was very lucky that he didn't find them because he would have killed them. And that he felt that was, that he was capable of doing it in that time. And then he said that the problem with hate and holding on to hate is that it doesn't destroy the people you hate, it destroys yourself. And I was so moved by that. I was so impressed. I mean, he was still upset. He still mourned his wife, but he said it took him 5 years to get to the point where he could lose that hate enough to start laughing and smiling with his children. Like that in that hatred, he had ignored his children when, and thus, again, destroying not just himself, but their lives as well. So it was remarkable, this man. Absolutely remarkable. Talking about the Congo as a place of such, just such riches. There's so many riches here, but but it's still one of the poorest countries on the planet, and is sort of being pulled in all different directions by larger, better funded countries. So it's like drinking poison and hoping the other guy will die. That's very well put, FB. Very well put. Hate, I find, is exhausting more than anything. It is. It's true. Liam Neeson tell a story like that too, did he? Unless you're talking about Taken, and then he just went and murdered them all. In the movies, you go back and you murder them all. Like, look, I'm all for John Wick going after everybody for the dog, but yeah, and that's it. I mean, I think it's seen as weakness. I think to forgive, and I think that is something I've always struggled with. I've always felt that like forgiveness was somehow a sign of weakness, and there's always a certain amount of joy out of belittling and deriding and whittling away at the people you don't like. I used to say and again, I used to say it jokingly that I believed that it isn't enough to succeed; others must fail. That was how I used to talk about my life, and I realize how incredibly wrong that is. Because you start to believe it after a while. You say it enough, you start to believe it. So. Anyways, Liam Neeson had a girlfriend who was raped years ago, and he wanted to go out and become a vigilante. Oh wow, yeah. Well, again, I'm not to say that I'm by no means. Can we get Zelenka in here? And McKay's depressing me. Oh, Diehawk Titan, you are evil, and you shall be punished. There's an article up today about that. It's regarding the music. Oh, it is. Okay. Is there? Could you post it, Evolution? Because I think that would be great. That would be great for the kids. Because it's one of those things that the kids aren't particularly good. Permit. Is it Evolution 219? There you are. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind, Evolution, just posting the link. Damn it, cow! Brr! One group farmed crops, the other ranched. One paid more than the other, was perceived to have better social status, which started the whole war. My great-grandfather was a British soldier stationed in South Africa during the Boer War. My family was on my father's side, first arrived in South Africa. Wow. Let's send each other virtual hugs, indeed. I'm working on a TechBandits illustration right now. Are you really? What are you doing, Nick Mala? What are you up to? I actually had the article. Oh, fantastic. What is this? Best source at the moment. Very good. Thank you very much, Evolution. Evolution, by the way, if you want to, while you've still got the thing up, why not post your link to your stuff too, so that you can, people can start recording their own Nintendo DS stuff if they want to. All right. Damn! I closed the wrong window. Now I can't see the chat. All right, what do we got? Twitch. There we go. I should probably wrap up at 4, so I've got some time to pee and things before I go and talk to Walter. Country 3D. Gotcha. What do we got? Chevron locked. Thank you, Diehawk Titan. Oh, you feeling guilty now, aren't you, Diehawk Titan? You can't be throwing bits at me now. Throwing out those little insults and then throwing out bits ain't gonna fix it. Time to pee. What do you need, an hour to get to the bathroom? Yes, Cal, I'm very old. Oh my God, now I need to really pee because I just talked about it. May I post the article? Techniques. Yes, please do. Oops. God, my typing is so bad. Did I get it before Cal? Same old chain. Thanks for a great chase so far in a sense of retrospect, sir. Oh, very good, same old chain. It's not normally as depressing as this one, but I've really dragged it down today, I'm afraid. All right, what do we got? Pac-Man Cal, oh, how I love you. Did I spell permit wrong? Shut up. I did not. Did I? Did I spell permit wrong? Oh, my God. All right. What is your favorite game right now? Ugh. Nothing happening in here. Nothing at all. Not depressing, just made me think of some things in a very warming sense. Appreciate those memories. All good. Same old chain. Um, so James Gurney, nothing happening here. It's so true. Nothing. Thank you. Made my day less stressed now. Oh, good. Very good. What else we got? No chat was not too depressing today. Sometimes people just have to talk about what's going on. Exactly, Liffin. I agree. I've been contacted by a bunch of streamers that haven't been playing music in months and they're still getting takedowns. Really? Haven't played music in months and they're still getting takedowns. Interesting. So they've automated it somehow or something. What music do I listen to? Invisible Dimensions. I'm a big fan of electronic dance music and pop. I am like the lamest musical person ever. Like, if it's too complicated, it's just not for me. Unless it's complicated electronic dance music. Yeah, I love EDM. I love pop. I grew up on the 80s. I eat light fluffy for dinner. I just love that stuff. There's a few sort of classic stuff. So I love Daft Punk. Love Daft Punk. Die Hard Titan. Um, wow, you'd like Buddha bar music. All right, okay, I'll have a look. David loves country. You should all send him country songs. Cal, you are freaking dead to me. Country is like, oh God, I can't stand country. Although I say that, and every so often, like what's it called? A Taylor Swift song will come on. I'll be like, oh, this is kind of catchy. Then I'm like, oh, this is her country days. Why do you hate it so much? I, I don't know. I think it's the twang. I don't like the twang. I love synthwave, new retro. I love what is it called? Nerdcore. Is it called nerdcore? Where it's like the really geeky electronic music stuff. Yeah, country. It's a twang thing, and also there's a thing called the Queen Street twang we used to talk about, which is like every band in Toronto always had this fake American sound to them, which I never understood, or British. They never wanted to sound Canadian. They either wanted to sound American and twangy, or they wanted to sound sort of British and uptight. So it was like a joke in the 80s. So for some reason, the twang was associated with country, and I never got into it. Oh, Lord, you are the opposite of me. I hated most 80s music. I spent the 80s listening to the 60s and 70s. Oh, my God, Fumbles Big Stupid. I would have hated you. I had a girlfriend who used to listen to all that freaking hippy-dippy 60s stuff, and I hated it. What was it? James Taylor, and all that. Oh, God. Although now that I'm older and less jealous and uptight, I suppose, well, probably more uptight and probably more jealous now thinking about it. I'd probably appreciate it a bit more. Like, I do find myself singing, Johnny Cash songs. But that's probably because of Shepard. I mean, Shepard, because of Flanagan. David, what about, I loved Kraftwerk. Kraftwerk, Nightcore, what's that? I don't even know that. Progressive music. I almost never listen to Daft Punk because of a grudge. Ooh, because of a grudge. Interesting. Here we go. Back to grudges. Ooh, country, says Benoit. I will keep watching every time you're on. Aw, sunshiny lovely. That's very sunshine lovely of you. Thank you very much. I gotta say, the chats are great for this. And just to be clear, Tuesdays is my chat time. So Tuesdays is basically when we do this. Monday afternoons I've been doing TechBandits, which is sort of science, technology, engineering, arts, and math stories, things that I think might get the kids' attention and get them thinking about stuff like this. Again, like I say, this week was really fun because we were talking about how to solve the problem of like child labor and the unfair working conditions in other parts of the world for the mining of materials that we use in our phones, and they were coming up with all sorts of ideas, politically based ideas, which I thought were kind of cool. Again, maybe a little overreaching of governmental controls, but again, I think it's great for the kids to be. If I can trick the kids into doing some thinking of their own, then I feel like my mission has been accomplished. If I can get them excited about something that they might not have been excited about before, to me, that's interesting. And I love the fact that they don't resent doing it. I feel like they show up because they want to show up. They can dual screen. They can say what they want. They can do what they want. Some of them get obnoxious. Fine, whatever. So that that's just been amazing. And I can't remember what the point of this was. Why am I talking about that? Oh my god, I'm losing the thread, aren't I? Squirrel! We should go to the squirrel camp. Bardcore. Bardcore. There's not really a bardcore, is there? Um, oh. Latest blood types and effects with COVID-19. Now, I had heard, Ram Custom PCS, that the blood types does not, that has been disproven, I believe. But you know what? If James Gurney's around, I'm sure he will leap in on that. Hey, don't knock the 60s, man. Hey, man. Yeah, okay, boomer, I think is the term. I think I just missed boomer. 80s music is making a comeback. Today's noise is not music. Oh, Die Hawk Titan, come on. How dare you? Mostly Iggy Pop, Velvet Underground stuff. Yeah, that was great. Iggy Pop, Velvet Underground. What was Billy Idol's band before Billy Idol? They were kind of fun. I loved U2, the old U2 stuff. Waterboys, Pixies. Oh God, who else? So I was a huge Depeche Mode fan. Duran Duran. I was a full-on Duranie. I had a membership to the fan club. I got their newsletter. I had their hair. David, why were most Canadian shows on the CBC just completely awful for the longest time? Techniques, because we don't have the money or the audiences to make them properly. And the CBC, I hate to say it, should just stick to comedy and to news and to sports, I think. I just don't think I don't think we've got enough money to make shows properly. That's, and I mean, that's probably something that people won't like to hear up here, because I think it is very, very important. I think it's very important that a country has its own government subsidized news service. I think the CBC means that the Canadian population is quite well informed. And in the same way that the BBC does the same thing for England, I think there's obviously going to be bias associated with that to some extent, but I feel like that's what the CBC should be doing. I think that's what it should be focusing on. Unlike the BBC has like a TV tax that they can use to make their stuff. We don't. It's all based on taxes and stuff. And I just don't think we have the money or the marketing know-how. I think we've got the marketing know-how. I just don't think we've got the marketing budgets to properly launch most of the shows. And I think shows that shouldn't be on the air stay on the air too long. I don't feel like it's run like a business. I feel like it's run like an empire. Like I feel like it's run like a government decision rather than an artistic decision. So I really feel like we should that the CBC should focus on documentary, news, sports, and maybe comedy, because I believe the comedy could be done cheaply enough. And by comedy, I mean the sketch stuff they do is pretty good. But it's just, and I also don't think there should be ads. Like I think if I'm paying my taxes to have a Canadian broadcasting company, I don't think I should be seeing ads on it. Keep your stick on the ice. We're all in this together. Exactly, Lady Shelley. Keep your stick on the ice. We're all in this together. Erasure. Oh, Erasure. I love Erasure. Vincent Clarke was a founding member of Depeche Mode before he left DM and started Yaz. Oh my God, I loved Yaz. Looking from a window above, it's like a story of love. Yes, I used to love Yaz. Oh my God, there was not a woman that I ever met. Woman? I guess they would be girls, because I would have been in like high school at the time. There was not a woman in high school that I knew who didn't own a Yaz album. No, that's not true. You know what? There is one. God, and I fell madly in love with her. All right. Duct Tape. Oh yeah, Red Green, but that wasn't CBC, was it? Apparently, even some in the game music can cause a takedown. I can see that going very badly long term. Absolutely. Evolution 219, if they're taking people down because of in-game music, that's screwed. But this is the other reason why I'm very nervous about basing any kind of a business on Twitch or YouTube or that kind of stuff. Like, their rules can change overnight. Unless you own the platform that you're broadcasting from, then you have no control over it. So I don't know. Barnacules was talking about this library thing, But I mean, if there were other alternatives that were more open source, I would love that. Oh, speaking of open source, before I run out of time, I got a question for you, and I'll ask 3D Country about this as well. But his stream may be more focused on that stuff. But a fellow by the name of Jonathan, who is incredibly graciously offered to buy the Tech Bandits and me a CNC machine, so basically a giant cutting machine, a larger version of the one that I have. So I've got a little tiny one like this, which SaneSmart were kind enough to send me. Really lovely thing. If that's what you're doing, if that is the size you're working with, I would highly recommend the SaneSmart. I love it. And I am being supported by them in that they sent me that for free so I could try it out. And it's just it's a lovely little, beautifully solid little beast of a machine. But I want to get this because Jonathan has offered to do this. I wasn't going to be able to do this before, but now we are. I wanted to get a larger system so the kids could start working with sort of more practical builds for themselves, like chairs and tables and skills that they could use later on in life. And also be able to do multiple cuts of one thing so that we could do things like little coins, little maker coins, or that kind of stuff. And I also wanted to make this thing available to everybody. So one of the things that I may do over the Christmas holidays is start a Kickstarter for the makerspace cave, which is basically to convert my garage into a makerspace, a local makerspace that the kids could come in and use when they want to. Have some kind of I thought it'd be kind of cool to have like some kind of a card system where people could log in and pick the times that they're going to work there, and then they can basically no one else can get in until they're finished their little. I just be so much. It's always been a dream of mine. I've got all these amazing toys and fun things to work with that I would be, which is no use me hoarding them all down here. The whole point of them was that the kids would be able to work with them, and as such, I started Tech Bandits and had bringing this stuff to the schools and stuff. Going back and forth, that is obviously going to get very difficult and time consuming. And also my poor Prusa printer, which I was carrying back and forth to school in sleet, rain, whatever. Anyways, point being is, giant CNC machine. I would like to get a good one. I was looking at the Shapeoko, the Carbide 3D CNC, the extra large, the big one of those. But I suddenly went, wait a second, we should get something that's open source. Like, I think we should, and I'll have to talk to Jonathan about this. I think it would actually be cheaper too, because I don't want to take any more money than I have to. Well, I say that. I'd be happy to take the money, but I don't want people spending more money than they have to on something like this. So I need some advice for. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do a stream about this, and I'll bring up a few suggestions and see what people think of it. And maybe I might even do this with Walter tonight. But so I want a CNC system that is open source. I want it to be as flexible as possible, not cheap flexible, but I mean like I want it to be able to. I want to be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna adjust the up and down, blah, blah, blah. I've literally lost the power to speak. I want to be able to adjust every aspect of it, right? So yes, CNCs need to be rigid. That's why I'm saying that I want them to be flexible. I want it to be flexible in design, in that I would like it to have, I'd like it to be, those nice aluminum, whatever they call, I think the Prusas have the bear. It's called a bear because it looks like a little bear. Aluminium or aluminum, whatever you say, components would be really nice. Things that you can change, adjust, make larger. I mean, it would be nice to have, more up and down play as you need. And, if you decide that you want to start putting in much larger pieces of wood or metal or, I want as much flexibility in how it is built and modded as possible. So yeah, brother's a mechanical engineer and 22 is a machinist. If you send me specs, I can talk to them about options. Oh, thanks, Pac Mom. Fantastic. Okay. Full 3D access support is more software driven than hardware. Right. So the idea would be everything as open source as possible. Yeah, better come with gummy bears. That's a good point. Sorry, when I say open source, I mean an open build as well. So the software is open source. There's a lot of open source software out there, and it basically runs off. I mean, a lot of these just run off like Arduino type things. So there are probably specialty boards that might work better. But the idea of having something that can be easily fixed, maintained, modded, changed, torn apart, used for other things. I mean, I just think the more flexibility that we have in that, the better. And obviously, you want like a nice solid build, so it shouldn't be cheap. And I'm a little nervous about getting some sort of like, knockoff from Alibaba that doesn't work. But yeah. So the idea is that then in the garage, hopefully I could make it sort of habitable for them, make it warm in the winter and not too blisteringly hot in the summer, and proper ventilation and all that kind of stuff. I mean, basically just like kitted out safety and comfort wise. And I guess internet and all that, the internet power, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, but the point being is, even if I have to put it down here to start, have the kids and potentially parents have access to these tools, and have a space where we can film them, where we can basically document the whole thing as well. So we'd be doing live streams, and we'd have all the machinery to play with as well. The makerspace I use built and open source CNC. I'll check what went into it, but I'll warn you, it is a beast. Yeah, they are beasts. I mean, that's really it. Seriously, search the word long mill. Okay, call it the Mad Scientist Club. That's pretty good. We actually, so right now, originally we were the Tech Terrors, because I used to call them my terrors. But the concern was that parents might take offense, so I started calling them the Tech Bandits. But I call it the Tech Bandits is the club, and they are my terrors. That's what I call them. All right, it's just after 4. I should probably run. Insurance, Diehawk Titan. That's so true. Insurance. Oh God. Possible. No. The hope would be not to have a 220 volt. The hope would be that it would run off a 120. I believe would be the way to go. So, nothing 527. I'm so sorry, but I'll be back tomorrow. Back tomorrow for Game Bandits. We'll be playing some Among Us and talking to the kids. But if you want to do more of this chitty chat stuff, then I'll be doing it again on Tuesday next week. Roughly the same time, probably. And what else? And potentially, I have to get back to you on this, but potentially a Sunday Stargate stream as well. So I should say adieu to you all, because I am going to go and talk to Country 3D, Walter. In fact, if we're streaming, join us there, because I'll be talking to him then. All right, so I shall say a cheerio. No, I'm going to say thanks first. So thanks, DStat, sponsorship level Patreon, all of our Patreons on Patreon, all of our subscribers here on Twitch, everybody who's been kind enough to donate at thetechbandits.com, to Jonathan for his kind donation of a CNC, which I have yet to price out for him, and yes, everyone else who supported the Tech Bandits, I really appreciate it. And thanks for this. Thanks for this. Thanks for the ups. Thanks for the downs. Thanks for the lows. Thanks for the highs. Peace to you all. Peace to the planet, fools. I so enjoy this, and I'm if one great thing came out of the pandemic for me, it is my absolute love and addiction to this whole online thing. Do we want to link to the country stream? Yeah, of course. If we've got one, that'd be great. I don't even know if we're doing a stream today. I really don't know. But if we are, then fantastic. And if not, then I'll just be talking to Country 3D. Let me see, Country. Let me see if this is it. Is this it? Is this it? Country 3D is offline. I think that's it. I think that's the right one. I think I've got it. Let me see if that will do us. I may stream later myself, says nothing. Very good. All right, folks. I shall say adieu to you all. I shall say until we geek again, cheerio, and as my dog is named, huzzah! Oh, wait a second. No, I didn't do that yet. Wait, I forgot one more thing. I don't want to thank Cal in any way, shape, or form, but I do want to thank our mods very, very much for helping out. Who we got? Ruby Cat. Actually, I don't have my things. Who have we got in here now? We've got. What do we have? Do we have it? How do I do the list of mods? Is there a way to do that? There must be a way of doing that. Squirrel. C mods. Is there a way to do that? So in a way, I didn't thank her. No, you're right. Active mods. Here we go. Okay, so thank you. Oh, so we're all still there. Okay, great. So thank you very, very much to my mods, the fabulous Jack Jastra, the always brilliant Ruby K, to the Zelenka bot, and yeah, Cal. Cheerio and huzzah!